All right, from Porterfield Park in lovely Orange County, Virginia. Welcome to tonight's broadcast of high school football as the visiting Blue Devils take on the Fighting Hornets of Orange County. I'm Mark O'Connell, joined as always by Steve Peacock, Johnny Krawchuk, our man behind the camera, Nicole Wooten back in the studio at the Culpeper Media Network. And Steve, great to see you. We've been here to Orange many times. These two teams come in with opposite results from a week ago when both teams debuted.
Yeah, Orange came off a big win against Cortland, while Culpeper continued its losing ways against Eastern View last week.
Sure did, and I want to talk first about Culpeper, the visitors tonight. I think we break down last week's game. The thing that really stands out was the just relentless pressure that the Eastern View defense was able to put on Bennett Sutherland. And it was really hard for the Blue Devils to establish any sort of synchronicity or continuity in its offense.
I agree with you. They put pressure on them all night long. And, I mean, they had some plays that worked, but they were pretty much dominated up front. And that's a big thing I've always said in high school football. You got to have good line play. If you don't have it, it can make for a long game.
We'll find out tonight from Coach Ford and his staff if they've made some changes up front. But Steve Tucker Dean is the center. He's got to have some help up there on that offensive line.
He does. The rest of the boys up there, they got to have better footwork, and they got to really go after it and really try to establish some type of identity up front. And also, they got to do a better job pass protecting for Sutherland.
All right, in Orange County, a big win over Cortland last week. And Steve, anytime you beat Cortland, you've beaten a quality, if not a quality team this year, a team that's always had a great tradition.
Oh yeah, I mean they're well coached. J.C. Hall's been there forever, but that's typical Cortland. They start out slow, but at the end of the season they're right there. But I really haven't really looked at Cortland that hard this year, so I don't know what it is, new people or a loss of players. But Orange is coming in. They got a good offense. Kristen Simpson, I think, is one of their quarterbacks, and then Darius, I forget really right off the name. Forgot about it right now. But anyway, they've got good quarterback play and good offensive line as a return to offensive line.
Well, after tonight's broadcast, a lot of names will be indelible.
That's true.
All right. Let's catch up with Coach Ford and see what he has to say about tonight's game. Coach Ford, thanks for joining us here tonight. How are you feeling?
Doing well. Excited for a beautiful night of football and ready to rock and roll.
You may know that there was a time when Culpeper versus Orange was quite a rivalry. How'd you like to reestablish that?
Well, I like to first get on the positive side of the board. Orange is right down the street, so of course we enjoy playing there. Friendly, we got family on both sides of the border, so it's exciting.
All right, let's talk about both teams. Let's talk about your team first, the visiting Blue Devils. Tough loss last week against Eastern View. Coach, I think, just the average fan would have had to conclude that your quarterback had a hard time last week with all that pressure in his face. What, if anything, can you do this week to shore up that offensive line coming into tonight's game and give him some more time to operate back there?
We just got to play well, play our technique. We have some guys trying to do some things that were out of our own character. We just need to win our one-on-one matchups up front and be technically sound. Eastern View didn't give us anything that we didn't see. Our guys just tried to think too much, and we want to simplify everything, and hopefully that'll help us this evening.
All right, so you know about your opponent. I'm sure you've seen them on film. You've read about them. They got a big win last week against Cortland. Yes. And anytime you beat Cortland, that's really nothing to sneeze at. So I know they feel pretty good about it, and I'm sure they're going to be carrying some momentum into tonight's game. When you look at the film and break down their team, who concerns you on the Orange side of the ball?
Well, they're big up front. They got a really big O-line and defensive line that push people around. They did a really good job last week at Cortland. And they're really athletic on the back end. So they have a couple of guys that's not really to single any guys out, but they got some outside linebackers and DBs that play their assignments well. So we just got to make sure our guys are making plays.
All right. But when they're on offense, how do you see them as a threat in terms of the passing game against your secondary?
They're very long and athletic. They like to get downfield, and if you give them too much room, those guys can catch a short pass and take it to the house. So we just got to make sure we tackle.
What are you going to tell your guys before tonight's game in terms of the keys to tonight's win? What do you tell them? What do they have to do tonight?
Tonight, just play clean and tackle. Offensively, play clean, play our technique. Defensively, hey, take our shoulder pad and take the guy to the ground. Football's as simple as that.
There you go. Coach, thanks for catching up with us. Always great to see you. Good luck tonight against the Fighting Hornets.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. All right, Steve. Well, we've talked to the coach. One of the things is, Bennett Sutherland had a hard time last week. We mentioned that. And then they put in Riley Lentz, Austin Lentz. Now I'm losing the name.
Austin Lentz.
All right, but he came in as a backup. But it wasn't because Sutherland was injured. They just needed to get somebody else some reps.
Right.
And maybe Sutherland got tired of seeing 34 and some other numbers in blue last week.
I agree.
But he's back. Tell me tonight the keys. Let's start with the Blue Devils. What must they do to have success here tonight?
Establish a line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball, pure and simple. That's it. They didn't have many turnovers last week. They just got dominated the line of scrimmage. They got to do a better job of that tonight, protecting Sutherland and then going after Orange's quarterback.
All right, Orange's quarterback is Jeremiah Wharton. He's a sophomore. This is his first year at quarterback. He was a starting linebacker last year, and he was a heck of a player as a freshman. And now he's doing a good job as a quarterback. 12 of 14 passing last week. You'll take those stats any day. 170 yards passing, 35 yards rushing, so he can't be a dual threat, and they got some good players too. I think that Orange, they got some size up front. I think they're going to build on what happened last week.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. Looking forward to calling the game with you tonight, Steve. From Jerry Sizemore Field is the place inside Porterfield Park in Orange, Virginia. Tonight, it's the visiting Blue Devils taking on the Fighting Hornets. We're proud to bring you all the exciting action on the Culpeper Media Network. We'll have tonight's kickoff when we come back.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, willing to take your trade and offer up to 125% of Kelley Blue Book Fair Trade value, along with a free trade appraisal. Battlefield Automotive, 547-3673. CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home Center, 825-2200. Found & Sons, more than a respected funeral home, they support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. 825-8371.
All right, from Porterfield Park in Orange, Virginia, welcome to tonight's broadcast of Blue Devils football as the visiting Blue Devils take on the Fighting Hornets of Orange County. I'm Mark O'Connell alongside Steve Peacock, and again, Johnny Krawchuk up top behind the camera, Nicole Wooten back in the studio. We are live tonight, and as you tune in, you're going to see team captains from both teams meeting in the center of the field for tonight's coin toss. Well, for the Blue Devils, number 4 is Devin Polari, number 14, Cole Plaster, number 53 is Larry Williams, and number 56 is Tucker Dean. And Orange County's Chase Rollins is number 71, number 62 is Trey Clatterbuck, and number 3 is Darius Holmes, and number 1, Bryant Childs. Now, Steve, welcome aboard, and we talked about in the pregame how Culpeper had a tough loss last week against the Eastern View Annual Cannonball Classic, 41-14. Tough night for Bennett Sutherland.
Real tough night, Mark. And Orange, I know, is probably studying some tape from that game last week, and I expect them to try to do the same thing that Eastern View did, put pressure on Sutherland, try to get to them early. Like I said in our pregame, the biggest key tonight, I think, for Blue Devils to come out tonight is establish a line of scrimmage. If they can get that done and really hold off Orange's big line and stay in the game, they have a chance.
It's like Orange has won the toss. Let's see what they want to do. But I wanted to say that when the Blue Devil offense is on the field, it'll be interesting to note who the personnel are up front. Because if you pointed out, and as everyone knows who follows football, is that games are won and lost in the trenches. So important. And, you know, we talked in the pregame, Steve, about how Orange has got a lot of good size. They've won the toss and they've deferred, so the Blue Devils will be receiving the football to start things here tonight. Well, talk to Coach Ford. You know, it's so important to establish yourself early. And, Steve, one of the things about the Blue Devils we've seen in the last few years is that they can ill afford to get behind in a football game.
They're right, Mark. They're not a come-from-behind football team. I thought they were going to do it when they got down 14 against Eastern View, but then Eastern View just came, basically ran away with the game in the second half. So Culpeper's got to keep their mistakes down. They got to play sound, fundamental football. And against a pretty experienced Orange team, they're pretty much all their line is pretty much a senior-dominated lineup there, especially along that offensive line.
Well, we were looking at the size that Orange County has, and of course they had a good game last week in the win over Cortland. And it's like I mentioned to Coach Ford, and we talked about it. If you get a win over Cortland, that's always a feather in your cap, because even if they had a down year right now, they've got that rich tradition. You feel like you really beat a quality, program.
Exactly. I mean, that was a big win for Orange. And again, Culpeper hasn't had too much success in the last decade against the Orange team. So, Orange, they're going to come out here. This could be a big win if Culpeper can do it.
All right, Orange will be kicking off, and that means Austin Frazier for the Hornets. Here is Frazier approaching, and here is his kick. We are underway at Paul Sizemore Field, Porterfield Park. This one taken at the 10-yard line. A.J. Marshall on the return fights his way out to about the 30-yard line, and already the Blue Devils have much better field position than they had last week when they started against the Cyclone.
Well, I mean, that's a lot to it. That was first game jitters and everything else. I mean, last week you can chalk some of that up to that, but now I'm anxious to see how the Blue Devils are going to come out and attack this Orange defense.
Well, you look at the Orange defense right there, Steve, and they do have some good size up front, no doubt. Now the Blue Devils, Bennett Sutherland, in the lineup. We'll try to pick the starters out for you as we can. So the Blue Devils go on offense to start things here. They'll start from their own 30-yard line. Here's Bennett Sutherland. Rolls to his right. Here comes some pressure. He throws it, and a diving incomplete. That was Cole Plaster trying to make a diving catch. Had he caught it, he'd have been about a yard shy of a first down. What do you think about coming out throwing on first down?
Well, I like it and everything, but again, when he's rolling right like that and trying to throw right, he's almost kind of had to almost like throw across his body a little bit just to even get the pass. He didn't have enough zip on him. Plus, he's under pressure from the defensive end of Orange.
And, I wonder if maybe Coach Ford's design is to try to get Sutherland in motion, maybe to run away from some of that pressure. Maybe that's the idea here. All right, on the incomplete pass, it's 2nd and 10 Blue Devils, still from the 30-yard line, of course. Second play, they fake it, but Bennett Sutherland tries to run it. He's got nowhere to go. They're going to drop him for a 5-yard loss back to the 25-yard line, and there were all kinds of blue jerseys in the play. No one was fooled on the Orange side of that football.
No, there wasn't, and they had penetration. I thought Bennett did a good job of trying to escape the initial pressure, but then he ran right into the whole right side of that Orange defense.
Brings up a 3rd and 14 now. Blue Devils opening possession here. They need a little room, if not a first down, some room to give their punter a chance. If it comes down to oftentimes field position. Now you're looking at Orange front 4. And let's see if the pressure comes, and it does. This one's incomplete. I think Sutherland just had to get rid of it, Steve.
I think maybe he was trying to do a screen pass, but I didn't see where 24, which is for Culpeper, A.J. Marshall, he wasn't making himself available on that screen pass. He was kind of caught in with the defenders, and Sutherland just had to throw it away.
All right, R.J. Uribe on to punt this one away for the Blue Devils, stands inside his 15. We got a dangerous Christian Simpson, the lone safety back for the Hornets, standing at about his own 40-yard line. Blue Devils will need a good snap here. We got a whistle, and we may have our first penalty flag of the game.
We're going to have a legal procedure against Culpeper.
Well, we'll take.
No, it's offside against Orange.
All right, that's going to give him 5 yards, but nowhere near enough for a first down. Well, we'll tell you that this broadcast is brought to you in part by K&M Lawn and Garden and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across from Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. All right, Uribe now stands inside his own 20. Simpson back to about the 35. Here's the kick. It's a good high one. Blue Devils should have good coverage. Simpson catches it, makes one man miss. Now he gets to the outside, looking downfield. R.J. Uribe might be the last guy to get a chance. Nope, they do get a little bit of help. He was one tackle away from going the distance, and it was Culpeper's number 53, Larry Williams, who saved the touchdown, Steve.
Yeah, one of our captains, Larry Williams, saved the touchdown on that play. And again, you got to give Simpson credit. He did all that by himself. And he had the wall set up on the left side, but kind of ran around it. And Culpeper just didn't position themselves in the lanes for the football.
All right, so the Hornets going on offense for the first time here in this first quarter will have outstanding field position. They're already in the red zone. Ball marked at the 18-yard line, where it's 1st and 10 with 10:42 to play here in the first quarter. So far, we're scoreless. Great opportunity for the Hornets. They hand it off to Bryant Childs. Childs upended as he gets down to about the 10-yard line. Cole Plaster on the tackle. Pickup of 8 yards on first down by Bryant Childs.
And Mark, what did I say in before the game start? Line of scrimmage, and right now Orange is winning it right off here in the first quarter.
Not only that, Steve, they go no huddle here on 2nd and 2. And here's the handoff to Simpson. Simpson tries to get to the edge and can't because Cole Plaster makes his second tackle of the game.
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of calling Cole Plaster's name, especially on defense. He's a quick linebacker, and they've made a good stop right there.
Makes 3rd and 4 for the Hornets. Simpson will stay in the game. Jeremiah Wharton is the quarterback, number 12. He's a sophomore. We talked about him being an outstanding starting linebacker last year as a freshman. This year they moved him to quarterback in place of Paul Poirier, who they lost to graduation. They had a good one in him, and now Wharton in his second game. Had a good game last week. Ball was dropped. They handed it off to Simpson. He's trying to break a tackle. Blue Devils converge as Culpeper's number 21, Justin Elkins, made the initial hit, and he slowed him up for his teammates to come over and help him out. Now we have a 4th down. So, Steve, if they limit them to a field goal attempt here, this is going to be a victory for that Blue Devil defense.
Right, it is, Mark. And, big 70, Austin Sellers for Culpeper was in that line and really trying to stack it up, and Ed Orange running back had nowhere to go. And it's going to be interesting. Not going for a field goal here.
Yeah.
Watch for the quick try. They're going to
try to draw him off. 4th and 4. They certainly line up to go for it, and I think you're right. Well, they don't get the penalty, and now Wharton is going to throw. It's going to be incomplete, and I don't see any penalty flags down, so the Blue Devils force them to turn it over on downs. Should they have gone for a field goal?
I would have thought Orange should have gone for the field goal right there, but again, give kudos to Culpeper right there. They stopped him, and now they get their ball back offensively, but they've just got to establish themselves offensively, Mark. They got to get Larry Williams and Tucker Dean and company up there, and also ready to run football block.
That is correct, no doubt about that. Well, Culpeper now second possession of the game, except this time they're taking over deep in their own territory at the 12-yard line. 8:54 to play here in the first quarter. Porterfield Park and Orange. Currently we're scoreless. Bennett Sutherland in the shotgun. They're going to keep it on the ground. And I believe this is Williams looking for a little bit of running room. Won't find much. He'll get out to about the 15, maybe the 16. This is actually Culpeper's number 16, and that's Devon Cooper. Now, I didn't find out what happened to Jakari Edwards, but I don't think we called his name last week. It was J.Q. Williams doing a lot of the getting a lot of the carries for the Blue Devils.
That's right. And Mark, I want to make sure we get Ross White in there, number 58, and also big number 75, Genoa Lane in there on the offensive line.
Okay, Bennett Sutherland now on 2nd down and 7. They keep it on the ground, straight ahead, and a good opening there, and enough for a first down as Devon Cooper gets across the 20 to the 21. Here's that first Blue Devil first down, Steve.
Yeah, run right up the middle, simple dive play, but he's able to get good blocking up front, and that's what Culpeper needs. They're led by Tucker Dean at the center, and also big 63, Jason Young, too, out there on that right tackle side.
All right, so first down, clock running, 7:53 to go, first quarter action. Blue Devils have it 1st and 10 now from their own 21, high snap. They go back to the run. And Cooper made the first man miss, and you know what? You almost have to if you're going to get any running yards in today's game, don't you?
You do, Mark. And you know, the Orange's defensive line is very big up front. So they're trying to clog up and occupy the run lanes and let the linebackers make the tackle. But Orange linebackers aren't very big. So if Culpeper's linemen can get a hat on one of those linebackers right there, they can spring their running back for a big gain.
7:15, clock running, first quarter action, no score. Culpeper looking at 2nd down and 4, ball at its own 32-yard line. They fake it, now they're going to throw it. Cole Plaster has it, 40-yard line, and that will be more than enough for a first down, the Blue Devils' second of the game. Well, we are live tonight, and we're live, I'm going to think, probably every game this season. Who's our live sponsor? Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they're able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. All right, clock continues to run, 6:40. Another first down for the Blue Devils. They now have it at the 40-yard line, so good field position. Sutherland keeps it on the ground, but tripped up in the backfield was Devon Cooper, number 16, and he was tackled in the backfield, so he's going to lose about 3 yards, going to bring up 2nd down and 13.
Cooper didn't know what the snap count was, Mark. He kind of hesitated there and was like surprised that he got the ball, and already the D-line from Orange was in there. Yeah, like you said, Orange's D-line, they got big boys, a big side of beef up there up front. But they're also going to try to use their linebackers to blitz off it. But now they brought in number 30 for Orange, one of the defensive ends.
Caleb Faust is number 30. You just mentioned him. Back to the ground they go, and nothing doing here. Maybe a guard in on the tackle, or making the tackle rather, was Jeremiah Wharton. So he's one of the players that goes two ways. He had such a good year last year as a freshman as that linebacker, but now he's playing quarterback and linebacker. So, you know, it's the old adage, Steve, in high school football, you got to put your best athletes out there all the time.
You do, and he ran right behind big number 74, Jaden Johnson right there. But, you know, Culpeper found a little bit of a weakness in Orange defense, and I think Orange has made the adjustment. Now Culpeper's got to find and make their adjustment.
3rd and long. Bennett Sutherland. Option, not going to have a chance to throw it because he's going to be smothered by the solo tackle made by number 50. 30, my mistake. That's Faust, isn't it?
Yes.
Number 30, Caleb Faust. Now it brings up 4th down. And so the Hornets stiffen on defense, and they'll force a punt. And that means Christian Simpson will drop back in hopes of returning another one. He got a nice return on his first one. R.J. Uribe stands inside the 25-yard line. Good snap this time. Here's the kick. It's high and away from the return man, and it takes a very nice Blue Devil roll, Steve. They're going to down this one all the way down at the 21-yard line. So a nice kick by Uribe, and an opportunity to tell you that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, willing to take your trade and offer up to 125% of Kelly Blue Book fair trade value, along with a free trade appraisal. That's Battlefield Automotive, 540-547-3673.
Now, Mark, we got to see Culpeper's defense here stiffen up again and try to don't have that. They have that knack sometimes for giving up that big play, just like on the punt return, and they got out of that one. They, like I said, we'll see what Orange is going to try to do here offensively.
Steve will try to pick up some of the Blue Devil starters. I just saw number 8. That's Griffin Tanner. Number 2, Garrett Damewood on the corner. A.J. Marshall is in there as a
number 70 on the line at nose tackle.
Okay, that's Austin Sellers. Looks like we're going to have a timeout taken by Orange. Well, our timeout sponsor this year is UVA Community Credit Union, strengthening the financial health of our members and the Culpeper community. Visit them at uvacreditunion.org. All right. So 4:31 to play here in this first quarter. No score. I think right now maybe a key takeaway for the Blue Devils, Steve, is that they had that stop in the red zone. They denied the Orange Hornets some points that they could have put on the scoreboard to start things. But then you look back at Orange's decision to go for it on 4th and 4. If you make it, it looks great. If you're not, you get questioned like, why didn't you go for the field goal? But here we are, still still scoreless.
Mark, I've answered the Jakari Edwards why he's not on there. He's on his civilian clothes with the jersey on the sideline. He must be injured,
Right.
or he'd be out there.
All right, Jeremiah Wharton, the Orange quarterback, hands off to the man coming around for the ball, and that's Simpson. He's got good running room, and he just looked like he sort of enjoyed himself on that play. Waited for the play to develop. He had a little bit of room in front of him, and then he picked his, got behind his blocks and all the way out to the 42-yard line. That's a pick of 21 yards and a Hornet first down.
Mark, they got to get pressure on this quarterback, or Wharton will pick them apart. And they had too big a hole right there on that running play.
Bryant Childs, the tailback, now behind Jeremiah Wharton. Blue Devils show pressure. They go to Childs. He gets to the outside, and Devin Polari trips him up after Childs crossed the 45. They'll give him to the 47 for a 5-yard gain. Brings up 2nd and 5 with 4 minutes, 7 seconds, clock ticking. First quarter, we are scoreless here at Porterfield Park.
And they got Tucker Dean going both ways, Mark, playing one of the the defensive end position right next to 70 Austin Sellers.
All right, now Jeremiah Wharton in the gun. Here on 2nd and 5. Wharton, play action, going to throw. Downfield, got a receiver, caught at about the 35, then went forward to about the 30. If it's a complete pass, it looks like it is.
Yeah, it did. I thought he dropped it at the end.
Well, the Blue Devils say he did. That's
There's no replay in high school ball.
Well, they're going to give him the reception down at the 32, Culpeper 32-yard line. That's a pickup of 21 yards on the pass play.
I thought he bobbled it, dropped it when he hit the ground, Mark, and that's what. But you can. There's still officials still discussing it.
And believe the receiver was number 7, Brody Foran, junior, 6'3" in height, 170 pounds. Well, so they get overruled, huh?
Yep.
So you could say the Blue Devils appealed the decision and they won.
They won that one. Number 7's a big target, 6'3". Throw it out there, but he was bobbler, didn't have possession when he hit the ground.
All right, so they'll reset here, go back to the line of scrimmage, which is the Orange's 47, and it's 3rd down and 5 from that spot. You can see the clock, 3:41 to play here in this first quarter. Well, the Hornets send 2 receivers to the left and to the right. Running back is Bryant Childs alongside Jeremiah Wharton, but we have a whistle and some stoppage here.
Could be legal procedure against the Hornets. We'll see what the call is.
Yeah, good call, Steve. That'll push them back from the 47 to the 42. And it'll make it 3rd down and 10 from that spot.
Now you got to figure out what Culpeper, you dial up a blitz. You got to find somebody on defense that's going to be, your guy that can make you get a go-to play from. Tucker Dean, it looks like he can be one of those, and he's playing in a linebacker position right here.
All right, 3rd and 10. Hornets at the 42. Here's Wharton. Dumps it over to Childs out of the backfield. Makes a cut. Still on his feet, fighting for more yardage, and they finally wrap him up and stopping shy of that Culpeper 40. It'll be a first down for the Hornets. And we'll tell you that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Fountain Sons, more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Fountain Sons at 825-3530. 1st and 10 Hornets from the Blue Devil 42-yard line. Handoff straight ahead. Watch out in the secondary, spinning, still fighting for yardage, and they finally tackle him at the 15-yard line. That was running back to Wayne Wells. And Steve, that was after he got that seam to run through, it was all Wells.
Well, Larry Williams in linebacker position went and hit the wrong hole, Mark, and they ran right where he was, and right at the middle was a big gainer.
28 yards, 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. They go back to him straight ahead. He goes, lowering his shoulder. He's into the end zone from 14 yards out. And it is to Wayne Wells. And now you'll see the confetti in the stands. So the Hornets strike first with 2:53 to play, 6-0 on the 14-yard run by Wells.
Mark, poor tackling by the Blue Devils. I mean, you got to hit and wrap up. I mean, they had two or three opportunities right there to stop him and couldn't make the play, and he ran in for the touchdown.
Well said. All right, now on for the point after. Orange's kicker, Austin Frazier. The holder is Bryant Childs. So Frazier will try to tack on the extra point. Here's his kick. Up and good. 7-0 Hornets. 2:53 to play here in this first quarter. Well, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Cash Imprints. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. And CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home Center. Well, Steve, what did you think about the Orange drive? They really started it at their own 21-yard line, so they put together some nice plays.
Well, and they had a couple penalties against them, Mark, and what happened was Culpeper gave up a big 3rd down and 10. You got to get that Orange offense off the field. When you hit 3rd and 10, they should be punting to our offense. Instead, they converted, and then 3 or 4 plays later, I think 4 plays later, they're in the end zone. And I think when I'm watching on defense, our D-line, we're leaving a big hole right up in the middle of the field. And, I mean, because we got them, we're playing 4 down, sometimes 3 down linemen. If you're only playing 3, you better make sure you got linebackers plugging that hole.
Well said. All right, 7-0 Hornets. First quarter action. 2:53 remaining. And the kicker, Austin Frazier, has teed it up. Blue Devils could be given a little bit of life if they can get a big special teams play. Straight ahead is the kick. Getting under it inside the 20-yard line is the return man there for the Blue Devils. Trying to reverse direction. Can't get out of the grasp of the defenders. That's number 18, J.Q. Williams. He wore number 22 last week, Steve.
Okay.
He's there tonight as number 18, it appears.
Is it 18 or 16? I can't see.
All right, well, maybe we'll get a better look at that. I could be mistaken. Culpeper's going to take over at its own 30.
Culpeper needs to hit a big play here, Mark. They need to get their passing game going, but what they've got to do is make sure they protect Sutherland.
Exactly. All right, Blue Devils trail 7-0. Back on offense from their own 30-yard line. And the Blue Devils load up this right side with 3 receivers, 1 to the left. They stay on the ground. This is number 16, the ball carrier, Devon Cooper. And he was bottled up before he get back to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard on the play.
No blocking, Mark, at the point of attack. And right now, this could be a long evening for the Blue Devils here if they just don't get on track. I mean, I know Orange is really big. They're big up the middle, but they don't move that well. So if you really don't have to push them back. You just got to get in their way, but the back's got to hit the hole quicker than what they're doing.
Yeah, Orange, you can see they have some good size on that front line there. 3 players there really of good size. On the left is John Ryder, number 74. That left end position, whistle to stop play.
That's going to be a Culpeper illegal procedure this time. Yep.
So for the Hornets, number 74, John Ryder. Number 77, Elias Carter. I happen to know his mom, and she says that Elias's nickname is Chunk. I said, is it okay if I call him that on the air? She said, yeah, absolutely. So when I say Chunk, that means Elias Carter, jersey number 77. You can see him there at that defensive tackle position.
He's a big boy.
And then number 70 alongside him is Christopher Frazier. He's 6 feet 285. Chunk, that's Elias Carter. He's 6'1", 350.
Wow.
So, yeah, they got some size up front. All right, here is 2nd and 16 for the Blue Devils from the 24-yard line. Sutherland's got some time. This time, A.J. Marshall out there at the 30. And looks like he'll fight, well, shy of the 35. We'll call it the 33.
Yeah, he stepped out, right there where the official is, about the 33.
You got that lost yardage back, Steve. Going to bring up a 3rd and 7 now.
I bet you Elijah Carter's mom, I bet his grocery bill every week is This is pretty hefty.
So you think he may have a voracious appetite?
I would think it says mom's good home cooking.
And then when you're in high school, it seems like, you're still growing. So, yeah. 3rd down and 7, Blue Devils now from their own 33-yard line. Hornets show pressure, then they back off, then we have a whistle.
It's going to be Culpeper again. They're not, that's on the quarterback. He's got to get his cadence down. He's got to be telling his boys, we're going to go on this snap count. And they're moving before Sutherland is, finishing his read. So
we're under a minute to play here in this first quarter. Our score is 7-0 in favor of the Hornets. And with the 5-yard penalty now, it makes it 3rd and 12 for the Blue Devils. And now the line of scrimmage is the 28-yard line. So they need a big play here. Will they go? You think pass. Could be Cole Plaster. Could be A.J. Marshall. Or they might keep it on the ground. Let's see. Sutherland, here comes the pressure. Going to have to throw it. He does have a receiver. It's going to be shy of the 40-yard line. And that is it's A.J. Marshall.
And Sutherland was being pressured really good by the weak side of that Orange defense.
Got out to the 37-yard line for a gain of 9, but now we've got a 4th and 3, and the Blue Devils send their punting team onto the field, and that's a good call.
Yeah.
23 seconds remaining first quarter action. You got to be thinking field position. Bring R.J. Uribe in as the punter. He's going to stand inside his own 25-yard line, and the very dangerous Christian Simpson back there, hoping to get his hands on the football. Here is Uribe's kick. They kick away from him. Actually, the return man they had back there. Let's check the roll here. They're going to down it inside the 30-yard line. Looks like they had Nazir McIntosh back there instead this time. Well, after the punt, the Hornets will go back on offense. Line of scrimmage will be the 33-yard line. And the Hornets lead 7-0 with just 13 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Well, we told you we're live, and our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Jeremiah Wharton, the Hornet quarterback, and his teammates back onto the field, starting from their own 33-yard line. Likely time for a play, maybe two, before this quarter expires. They do an inside reverse handoff, and then straight ahead goes Simpson. He's got some running room, and he gets in Blue Devil territory inside the 45-yard line, down to the 43, and pickup of 24 yards on the play.
Mark, that was just too easy, and it was a beautiful play call by Orange to set that up. And again, we went with 4 down linemen, but we're giving them too big a gap right up the middle of that field, and that little inside handoff, or almost like an inside trap, the Orange offensive lineman didn't have anywhere to go with the ball, to block, because Culpeper already took themselves out of the play.
And that's how the quarter ends here at Porterfield Park with our score, Hornets 7, Blue Devils nothing. We'll come back for the second quarter right after this break.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, willing to take your trade and offer up to 125% of Kelley Blue Book Fair Trade value, along with a free trade appraisal. Battlefield Automotive, 547-3673. CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home Center, 825-2200. Found & Son, more than a respected funeral home, they support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M. From grass to trees, they aim to please. 825-8371.
All right, welcome back. Start of the second quarter. Hornets have it. 1st and 10. Blue Devil 45. Trying to get to the outside and get that edge is Simpson, and he does, and he stiff arms a would-be tackler near the Blue Devil 30-yard line.
Mark, poor tackling. Poor tackling right there. They're reaching for him instead of trying to, get a body on somebody.
All right, so they will move the chains and the sticks for a first down, and line of scrimmage now the 32 of Culpeper. Opening seconds here of this second quarter. Hornets on top 7-0. Jeremiah Wharton, the quarterback. Here come the Blue Devils pressuring. And they were able to get to Wharton, and he was able to get rid of it. He tried to dump it to his teammate Dwayne Wells. Incomplete pass.
Good pressure there by the Blue Devils, especially Larry Williams coming right up in there. And been able to rub right off that lineman and get in there and disrupt that play. But we need more plays like that, Mark.
Sure do. 2nd down and 10 now. Hornets from the Blue Devil 32, if you're just tuning in. Low-scoring first quarter, 7-0 Hornets. So we start this second. Back to the run they go. And this is Dwayne Wells. Wells takes it to the house. 32-yard run. Steve, what happened on that play?
Your poor tackling and good blocking up front by Orange. And they just took Culpeper out of the play. And especially, as I said, poor arm. You can't arm tackle those backs from Orange. You got to wrap them up. They're too strong.
Well, they've got several running backs that have hurt or will or have the potential to hurt the Blue Devils. Bryant Childs, of course, is one on Christian Simpson, and now Dwayne Wells runs for that touchdown. Now on for the point after. Austin Frazier, the holder is Childs. He gets it down. Frazier gets his kick up, and it's good. 14-0 is our score. And it took the Hornets 19 seconds to score here in this second quarter, Steve.
Mark, right now Orange is just dominating Culpeper. They're just a better football team. I'm going to be just blatantly honest. Right now, Culpeper just seems out of all sorts. I mean, they're not tackling, they're not hitting the right holes, and now look at it, they're down 14-0.
And it starts up front because you get a running back with the skill and the agility and the quickness. Puts really a lot of pressure on your defensive backs to come up and make stops like that.
Sure does. I mean, right now it's all Orange highlights tonight on with Orange football on Final Score Friday or Friday Night's Fury.
Mm-hmm. All right, 14-0 our score. 11:41 to play second quarter. Austin Frazier will kick off. See if the Blue Devils can set up a return here. Well, we are at Porterfield Park. The field named in honor of Paul Sizemore, someone you would remember well, Steve, because you went to high school at Culpeper, and Culpeper really had a nice rivalry with Orange back then, didn't
we sure did. Them and Madison as well.
Right. Here's Frazier's kickoff. This is going to be fielded near the 10-yard line. And a pretty good return out across the 40. Check the player. That is number 22. And that's J.Q. Williams, the return man. So he gives the Blue Devils some good field position as they start things here, trailing 14-0 with their first possession here in the second quarter.
Well, let's see if Culpeper can take advantage of the good field position, Mark. I mean, they've been decent on special teams, but right now their offense has been stagnant, and their defense just victimized poor tackling, poor positioning.
All right, so Bennett Sutherland brings them to the line of scrimmage. He's got J.Q. Williams alongside him in the backfield. 3 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. Sutherland going to throw. This one is picked off. And taking it to the house is number 6, Dwayne Wells. And you know what, Steve? I know it's not the Blue Devils, but that play, is it worthy of a replay?
Yes, it is, Mark, and let's see what happened right here. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and then the Orange defender was right there, took it to the house, TD, touchdown.
And Wells now back-to-back touchdowns for the Hornets. On offense, he ran 32 yards for one, and this time he ran 42 yards off the pick 6, and it's 20-0. And Steve, the Blue Devils are going to have to rein in this Orange onslaught pretty soon, or it's going to be a long night for the Blue Devils.
It sure is, Mark. We've got a flag on the play. Looks like illegal substitution. Too many people on the field. The kick, it sure is. Illegal sub. But again, Mark, yeah, they better try to come back quick, or they'll be demoralized.
So really, if you look at the clock, 11:23 to play, second quarter. That means the Hornets have scored 2 touchdowns in 37 seconds.
You got it.
Frazier on for the point after. Again, Childs, the holder. There's a high snap, and Childs does a nice job of getting it down. And then Frazier connects, and it is 21-0 in favor of the Hornets. And we are early into this second quarter. Again, the Hornets 2 touchdowns in 37 seconds, both by Dwayne Wells. All right, well, this broadcast is brought to you in part by K&M Lawn and Garden and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. Also, we'll mention Battlefield Automotive, willing to take your trade and offer up to 125% of Kelly Blue Book fair trade value, along with a free trade appraisal. That's Battlefield Automotive, 540-547-3673. Well, Orange kicker Austin Frazier has booted the football a few times tonight. He's 3 for 3 on point afters. And so right now, Orange County's Dwayne Wells has 2 touchdowns. Let's see, who do we have scoring the? Well, actually, Wells has all 3, doesn't he? He had the 14-yard run to score. So Wells has the trifecta already. 3 touchdowns tonight for the Hornets. All right, they keep this one on the ground.
Cool,
and this one
pick up.
Hard to pick up. They finally do inside the 15-yard line, and then tackled hard prior to getting to the 20 was Culpeper's number 16. That's Devon Cooper. So less than average field position for the Blue Devils as they go back on offense, trailing 21-0. And again, we're only into the opening minute of the second quarter, and Orange has already inflicted that sting, up 21-0. Steve, if you're the Blue Devil offense, do you get Bennett Sutherland moving, trying to get some short passes to maybe set up the run?
You got to do something, Mark, because they're going to a wide bunch of formation out here on the right side. They've got to do something and try to but Orange is waiting for them, especially on that slant play.
All right, from the 19-yard line, the Blue Devils set up here on offense, hungry for a score. Sutherland handing off over right tackle goes Devon Cooper, and not much. He did get across the 20 out to about the 22. That'll be a pickup of 3 yards. Will bring up 2nd and 7 for the Blue Devils.
You're trying to get right now. It all happens up front. I can't say it enough, Mark. In line of scrimmage, and right now Orange is dominating them.
Well, I know it sounds cliche, and we've said it a lot, but I mean, that's where the games are won, right?
Exactly, in the trenches.
And we talked about just how big those Hornets are up front. Here's a quick throw and a nice hit made on Garrett Damewood. It was number 2, tackling number 2. So Damewood, the receiver, and Derek Payton delivered a nice tackle.
And that was textbook defense by Orange, Mark, because he saw the slant, he just stayed home. He knew it was going to be right there, he'd get a good hit. And but now with targeting and everything, it's very hard to knock the receiver loose, the ball loose from the receiver these days. So, and I understand, you got to worry about the safety of the player, but
Well, they must have given him a
They
first
did.
down on that play.
They
Yeah,
did.
It was 3rd and 1. They moved it to 1st and 10 now. Back to the run they go, and nothing much doing there as back to the line of scrimmage really, and nothing more. And that was J.Q. Williams, the ball carrier. And you're just looking at the beef coming up off that turf, the last man up. Somebody we have singled out already. That's number 77, Elias Carter. Chunk. Yeah, there he is. Johnny's going to do a good job of zeroing in. You want to get a look at Chunk? There he is, number 77. You remember the old commercial, Where's the Beef?
Yeah.
Right there's the answer, right, Steve?
Both of them. Look at them.
Yeah.
70
And 74, that's John Ryder. Ryder's a junior. Well, we got a timeout, and our timeout sponsor this year is UVA Community Credit Union, strengthening the financial health of our members and the Culpeper community. Visit the website at uvacreditunion.org. And we mentioned our broadcast also brought to you in part by Found & Sons, more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. That's Found & Sons at 825-3530.
Well, Mark, I was going to tell you, a synonym, let's say English lesson. What other words go with chunk?
Other words that go with chunk.
So we can name the other linemen. You see what I'm getting
Oh,
at?
I see.
Piece, chunk, or, you got chunk. So what other pebble, rock?
Well, if you look at
Stump.
that could be one. If you look at the 4, you've got about 3 people with that relative size. And you got a couple guys mixed in there that might be more like nuggets, right?
Right. You got stump, chunk, and hydrant.
Yeah. Blue Devils keep this one on the ground. The ball is loose. Let's see who's got. Look at the Blue Devils man on the spot there. Recovering is number 58 for Culpeper. Johnny on the spot. And do we have 58?
58, yes we do. Ross White.
All right, let me see yours. So we do. You have it. Orange did not have it on their roster. So number 58 is Ross White. Well, he saved the Blue Devil turnover. Ball at the 31.
But you got 3rd and long here, Mark. Again, and deep in your own territory, so you've got to be careful not to make a mistake like you did last time. It led to a touchdown. So.
Right. 3rd and 8 now for the Blue Devils from their own 31-yard line. 8:47 to play. Clock ticking. Second quarter. 21-0 Hornets. All right, here comes the pressure. Sutherland dumps it off to J.Q. Williams. He got nowhere to go, and he attracted a whole hive of Hornets.
That's a good he did. The hive was coming out.
And you talk
they
about
were
it.
buzzing around him.
Yes, they were buzzing, and they had bad intentions. They were like, I don't want to call them Yellow Jackets. We got some teams named that. But those Hornets, they can inflict a sting, can't they?
They sure can.
When they sting you in bunches, it's like J.Q. Williams is like, this isn't working out too well.
They inflict a lot of pain.
Yes, they do. Well, dropping back is Christian Simpson, lone safety for the Hornets. R.J. Uribe will kick this one from about the 10-yard line. He does try to kick away from it. It's a high kick, but Simpson, he's going to let it bounce. Then it's going to roll away from him. Let's see. Let's check the roll. They're going to down it inside the 35-yard line. The Hornets go back on offense at about their own 34, and they're up 21-0 with 7:53 to play here in this second quarter. We are at Porterfield Park in lovely Orange, Virginia. And, Steve, I can honestly say I know a lot of people in both counties, and I know you do as well. And, of course, you grew up in the Culpeper area, you were a Blue Devil, and it's been difficult for you sometimes to watch how some of these games have played out.
Oh, yeah, especially here lately. I mean, it's just, I want to say basically ever since the split of the schools, Culpeper has had limited success. They had, they did have to go to the state semifinals under Wakefield before he left.
Right. Blue Devils showing pressure. Jeremiah Wharton going to throw it downfield. He's got a receiver caught in between 2 defenders. Is number 5, Christian Simpson. Came out of the backfield, and wow, just like that, another touchdown for the Hornets. And this one from 67 yards, Steve, is that worth another look on a replay?
It sure is, Mark. And look what happened here. Orange quarterback, Ward drops back, finds his receiver, is waiting there, and then again, poor conversion coverage of the ball, poor tackle, Orange touchdown.
67 yards on the pass play from Jeremiah Wharton to Christian Simpson. 27-0 in favor of the Hornets. And now with 7:43 to play, Austin Frazier, the kicker, will try to make it 4 for 4. And he makes it look easy, so he does. 28-0.
No, they say he missed it.
Oh, did he miss it?
He missed it.
All right. Well, so he's 3 of 4. I don't think that's going to come back and hurt them if this game stays on track, do you?
No, I mean, you get up 35-0, it's a running clock. But right now, you look over at the Culpeper sideline right now, they look pretty, their heads are down, and they look pretty, you know, you just got to, if you're the coaching staff, you got to just get them, don't quit. Just keep fighting and fighting. And they just got to learn from their mistakes, Mark. And right now, they just don't have, you know, all the pieces together right now.
And I think that one of the things that's going to hurt the Blue Devils, Steve, until they get that offensive line intact where they got people in right positions and they've got some time under their belts and they establish, you know, that sort of playing time, they don't really have the players with the big play capability for them either at this point.
No, they don't. And that's one thing. Orange has got go-to big game players. Easterview's got big game players. But a lot of your schools have that one or two athletes that can get points for you. And right now, I just don't see it on the Culpeper side. I really don't.
Well, Austin Frazier been busy teeing up the ball tonight. In fact, Orange kicked off. They won the coin toss and deferred, so they kicked off to the Blue Devils to start this game. And so if you're looking for a little more good news, I can't bring it to you in terms of the third quarter because Orange will be getting the ball to start the third quarter. We still got 7 minutes and 43 seconds to play in this second quarter, and of course anything can happen. J.Q. Williams, the return man, brings it out to the Blue Devil 40-yard line, so they will have decent field position. But then the question pops back up, Steve, what, if anything, can they do with it?
You know, that's the key. They're not been able to run the football. They've had very limited success throwing the football through you know, a pick six. So you know, and then again they've given up the big play on defense. So your offense right now, you've got to look to them and say, hey, we've got to pick the defense up.
Got to give Bennett Southern a little bit of time back there. He's got J.Q. Williams, tailback position. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 4-man front there for Orange as that linebacker steps in, now backs off to go to the run. J.Q. Williams trying to spin his way away from the tacklers, unable to do so as the Hornets converge. I think the initial hit made by Bryant Childs, and then big number 77, you know that fellow named Chunk?
Chunk.
He came over and took a chunk of it.
You got Chunk, you got Stump, and you got Hydro for fire hydrant.
I'll be sure to tell his mom when I probably see her on, not Monday, that's a holiday, that, yeah, I had a chance to see your son. He was, he not only took up some space out there, he made the most of it, didn't he?
Yep, he was grinding it out.
3-yard pickup, 2nd down and 7. Blue Devils now from their own 43. Sutherland going to swing it out to J.Q. Williams, who lowers his shoulder. Bryant Childs and Dwayne Wells combined for the stop. Will be a couple yards shy of a Blue Devil first down.
You know, Mark, I was just thinking, how many Labor Day weekends have we been broadcasting together now, high school football? Seems forever. We've had...
Well, we started in '98, right?
Yep.
And
that was Labor Day weekend, wasn't it, up at Osborne?
Osborne. I think that game was played in August, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
That was one of the hottest games I've ever participated in, and I mean, it was like hey, nothing against Osborne, but it was like being in a sauna.
Yeah, those are the good old days back then.
A lot of memories.
Yep.
And a few mishaps along the way, I'd say. They might even call it bloopers and blunders. Well, that was Devin Polari gets his first carry. They wanted to go to the fullback straight ahead. They needed 2 or 3 yards, and Polari gave that to him. They moved the sticks, and now the Blue Devils in Orange territory at the Hornet 46. But, Steve, they're going to have to score pretty soon, or this game is just going to be out of control.
They are, Mark. They're going to have to make this possession count here. And like I said, Polari and Plaster, they need, you know, they got big hearts, and in little bodies, but they need to get their hands on the ball.
So Bennett Sutherland looking at some orange pressure. Here it comes. Sutherland has to get rid of it quickly. He's got Cole Plaster, however, and Plaster fights his way for a few yards after the catch down to the orange 35-yard line. That's a pickup of 11 yards and another Blue Devil first down as the clock is stopped with 5:58 to play here in the second quarter.
Now see, Culpeper's got to drive. Now that's what they needed. They need to get something going and being able to, continuity, move the ball down the field. And it looks like they found it on that slant pass.
And, Sutherland had to release it pretty quickly, so Plaster had to be ready and waiting for it.
Yep.
I think they know that their quarterback's not going to get much time. You got to be ready for a quick toss.
And the orange cornerback's got to learn to play up on that and to negate that lane. But right now, Culpeper seems to exploiting it.
Hornets, a few more men on the line of scrimmage this time. They come straight ahead, but Polari runs past it. Straight ahead goes Devin Polari. Watch out, Polari goes the distance from 35 yards out. And Steve, I don't see any penalty flags. Looks like those points will stay on the scoreboard.
Touchdown, Blue Devils.
Devin Polari. I had a chance to actually speak to him before the game. And you know what he told me? He said, I had a chance to watch the whole game on video. I said, good luck tonight.
Yep, he did. He burst like they need to get him the ball. If he can run right like that right up the middle, where has he been?
But I was thinking as I talked to Devin Polari, he was kind of a bright spot for the team last week, wasn't he?
Yep.
R.J. Uribe's point after, they say, is good. So the Blue Devils, Steve, have certainly averted a shutout, if nothing more than that. But here's the thing. We always talk about the psychological factor, and really you can factor it into anything you do, right?
Yep.
If the Blue Devils hadn't scored there, I'm just not sure they would have recovered.
No,
I think it would have been a long night for
It would have been a
them.
long night. They would have mailed it in, I think. But right now, they got a touchdown. You can't get it all back at once. You got to do it's the little things, Mark. And if you do the little things right, the big things will come. And right now, they got to have to just keep playing, sound football, especially on the defensive end of the defensive side, and to limit Orange's possessions and give the ball back to Culpeper. Because Culpeper right there, they look like they had a good mix of pass and run, especially with Polari hitting that quick hitter right up the middle because Orange left a big gap up in the middle.
And, we may have missed an opportunity for a replay on that one with Polari. But the thing was, it looked to me like the defense of Orange, they were showing pressure up front. And I think that they sort of ran past Polari. And then Polari had that opening. And then he got into the open field. There really wasn't anyone there.
Right. Once he got past the line, there was nobody there. And he could just run for daylight, took it to the house.
All right, R.J. Uribe will kick off for the Blue Devils, who now trail 27-7 with 5 minutes and 15 seconds remaining here in this second quarter. So for the Orange County Hornets tonight, Dwayne Wells, 4 touchdowns. Uribe's kick is going to take a nice bounce. Simpson's going to field it inside the 15-yard line as the penalty flag comes in as he gets across the 30-yard line. Did you see the infraction on that play?
A block in the back. Here, let's see what the block in the back and see what the official says right here.
Well, Steve has a really good eye to spot those fouls as they are being committed. Well, as they mark this one off, we'll tell you this broadcast is brought to you in part by CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home Center. And there's Cash Imprints. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints. 317-1473. All right, Hornets, worst field position they've had tonight. They'll start at their own 10-yard line. Wharton, hands off. This is Bryant Childs. Tries to get the edge. Cuts back, looking for a block or two. Nothing really much develops, but Childs' second effort creates a positive situation out of something that didn't look like it was going anywhere, Steve.
No, it didn't. He took what he could get. But again, the defense is playing hard. So, just got a text from one of my buddies that said that Caleb Green and Riley are two big guys that play in JV got called up. So,
okay.
Thank you, Mark Bryson, for that.
Very helpful information. 8 yards on the run by Childs makes it 2nd and 2 for the Hornets. As the clock continues to move, Childs is looking for some running room, and he won't find any this time as the Blue Devils bottle him up in the backfield. In on the tackle for Culpeper is number 56, Tucker Dean, and he looked like he had some help there from Jaden Johnson as well.
See if Culpeper can force Orange out here, Mark, on a 3 and out, force a punt. I mean, right now, the momentum, I'm sensing a little momentum shift right now. Let's see what
and you may very well be right. As the Hornets now have 3rd and 2 from the 18. Wharton is your sophomore signal caller. The Hornets have called a timeout. Our timeout sponsor this year is UVA Community Credit Union, strengthening the financial health of our members and the Culpeper community. Visit their website at uvacreditunion.org. Well, Steve, college football is about to kick off, so you're quite the prognosticator. What's your take on the ACC this year?
Clemson, as usual, is going to be up there. I think Miami's going to be tough. And, they're picking Virginia and Virginia Tech to kind of be middle road. I saw Pitt last night. They're good, so they're going to be up there. They were the coastal champs of the ACC last year.
So I take it they beat West Virginia last night?
Yes, they did in a backyard brawl. First time they hadn't played in 11 years.
Well, after the timeout, the Hornets come back, regroup. They have 3rd down and 2 from their 18-yard line. Jeremiah Wharton will hand off. Ball carrier here makes a cut. He's tackled right at the 20. That's going to be real close to a 1st down. Let's check the spot. He had to get to the 20. He's awfully close. There's a penalty flag there. Let's check what it is. Personal foul. Horse collar.
Culpeper.
Yep.
Again, that's right there. That's a.
Well, I saw the tackle. It did look like it was in that area. Then I was watching the ball carrier as they stopped him right at the 20-yard line, or maybe a little shy. But that's a moot point now because they mark off this personal foul all the way out to the 35-yard line. It will be 1st and 10 now for the Hornets. Now we have 3 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter. Orange had 4 unanswered scores until the Blue Devils scored recently with Devin Polari, 27-7. Wharton's got time. He airs this one out. Plenty of arm strength. Good coverage this time. Cold Plaster back there. 2 receivers with Cold Plaster sort of in the middle of them.
Yeah, and that was good defense by Blue Devils. And again, Orange has kind of gone away from what was giving success early in the quarter with play action. They're now just loading it up and just throwing it down there, and that gives the defensive backs for Culpeper, they can sit there and they've now seen it, and they can sit there and either double coverage or man on man. It looked like right there they had good coverage on that play.
All right, the incomplete pass brings up 2nd down and 10 from the 35-yard line. Wharton in the gun. Here comes the pressure. Short pass caught near the 40-yard line is Bryant Childs. He'll be about 5 yards shy of a 1st down, but it'll bring up 3rd down and a manageable 5 yards to go for another Hornet 1st down.
And Devin Polari is the one who, number 4, brought the
receiver
play down.
Mm-hmm. Well, Devin Polari has the Blue Devils score in this 1st half. Polari is showing pressure. Here he comes. They pick it up. This one incomplete. And if it was intended for number 10, it was outside the reach of Connor Boyd. We had another receiver out there who seemed to be pretty well covered, and that was Darius Holmes. So it's 4th down now and 4. And at the 41-yard line, do the Hornets kick it here?
I don't know. They look like they're going to be This is a gutsy call here by Coach Lohr here for Orange.
Well, they line up to go for it. Oftentimes it's a long snap count. They don't get it. Wharton's got time. This one incomplete. Good defensive play out there by number 2, Garrett Damewood. Yeah.
Good coverage right there. He got his hand in there and knocked it away. Now Culpeper's been given a gift.
Stevie was able to do it without incurring a penalty on the play, and now they turn the ball over on downs to the Blue Devils, and they have excellent field position now at the Orange 41.
Yeah, and see what they can do here with the ball, and see if they can get in.
You were saying a few minutes ago that you sort of sensed a little bit of change in the momentum.
Yeah, I mean, I think Orange was sitting there resting on laurels thinking they got a cakewalk here, but now they've allowed Culpeper to score. So.
All right, so the Blue Devils have it. 1st and 10 at the Hornets' 41-yard line. 2:42 to play. Second quarter. 27-7 Hornets. Sutherland rolls to his right, looks downfield. Nobody there, and then the Hornets swarm him and drop him for a loss back at the 45-yard line. So he'll lose 4 yards. It'll make it 2nd and 14, and the clock will continue to run.
And Mark, was he a designed run? Because he didn't look like he was throwing the ball, and then he kind of slowed down. If you're going to make up your mind to run, you got to get to that corner.
Well, and I could be wrong. I sensed that on that play he was looking for a receiver, probably didn't find one, and when he opted to run, I just think that the defenders were fast enough to close that gap pretty quickly.
I just didn't see his eyes looking downfield very long.
All right, here's a play fake. This one is designed for Sutherland to run it. And he's tackled once he got to just past the 40-yard line. He was tackled out of bounds. A little slow to get back up on his feet.
Yeah, he got hit pretty hard there. It was a legal hit. It was nothing.
Picked up 3 yards to make it 3rd and 11 here.
As you would say, nothing nefarious.
Nefarious is a good word. All right, I've got 3rd down and 9. Blue Devils at the 40-yard line of Orange.
Yeah, it looks like they've tightened up their linebackers a little bit now.
All right, here's the snap to Sutherland. Protection holds up this time as he throws downfield and incomplete. And that one wasn't catchable by any stretch of the imagination.
And I want to know who he was throwing it to.
Right. And I did have one receiver in the vicinity, but he was in double coverage.
Right, and Plaster was over here double covered on the other side.
And so now the Blue Devils have a 4th down to think about.
Yep, they sure do.
4th and 9, Blue Devils at the Hornets' 40-yard line. Well, they're set up to go for it here. Let's see if that's what we'll put into execution. It's a long snap count. Sutherland in trouble, and they sack him and sling him to the ground. And who slung him to the ground? Fellow by the nickname of Chunk. There he is, number 77.
Chunk and Stump got him.
Elias Carter. I think he feels pretty good about that play.
Yep.
He slung the quarterback down, forced the turnover on downs, and now the Hornets go back on offense.
Sutherland didn't have a chance. I mean, I know he was going to try to run it and try to get out there throwing it, but he ran into, like I said, that side of beef called Chunk.
You know, if we were covering Orange the rest of the season, who knows what this might evolve into. Nicknames galore, right?
Yep.
All right, from the 40-yard line, go the Hornets. Minute 44 to play in this one. Childs hesitates a little to wait for this one to develop. Nothing does. We do have a penalty flag that comes in.
Might be a holding on Orange. Let's see what the call is. Hold.
Well, Childs is a good running back, Steve. He hasn't really had the openings that some of his teammates had, you know.
He's a little guy, too.
Last week, he had 12 carries for 45 yards. That's almost 4 yards a carry, and he had 1 touchdown. This one works against the Hornets. It'll back them up to the 30-yard line. Will be 1st down and 20.
Still 1st down, 1st and 20.
Got to get to the 45-yard line for a 1st down.
1st and 25.
Low snap. Wharton has it. plenty of protection. Airs this one out, and looks like it's caught. Cole Plaster was coming over in coverage, and maybe he just didn't time it well, but in any event, Brody Foran stayed right with it, Steve, and made a big catch all the way down to the Culpeper 38-yard line.
Sure did, and Plaster thought he had it, and it just snuck right under him, and it's a good catch there by the Orange receiver. And nothing against what Plaster did. He had it well covered. He just couldn't get the ball away.
32 yards on the pass play. And it's a first down for the Hornets. Here come the Blue Devils. Wharton runs away from the pressure, throws downfield, and a nice catch made along the sidelines. Nicely done there by the receiver, Darius Holmes, and another Hornet first down.
In high school, all you do have to do is get that 1 foot in bounds, and that he did. And so now first down for the Hornets, and now they're going to try to call play and try to score here before halftime. That would be demoralizing for Culpeper if they allow Orange here with 55 seconds to go in the first half mark to score.
18 yards on the play, another first down. First and 10 Hornets from the 20. Here's a reverse inside handoff to Simpson, and he'll get down close to the 15.
They do that well, that little inside handoff. It's tough to pick up.
Does that remind you a little bit of what Falk here used to do?
Yeah, single wing a little bit.
Oh. All right, so second down here. Now the clock running at 35 seconds, and a whistle will stop it. We'll check the call.
I wonder if it's going to be procedure against Orange.
Dead ball,
offsides,
Culpeper.
Now, see, that's a dead ball, meaning you lined up offsides. You've got, you know, again, the little things, Mark.
Right. Well, they say that little things mean a lot, and likewise, little things can hurt you a lot, right?
That's exactly right.
They move the ball down to the 11-yard line, where it is second down and 1. So the Hornets can get a first down without having to score here and then having 4 more downs. But they've only got 25 seconds to play here in this quarter. Wharton wastes no time. Goes to the end zone. Going up and making the catch is...
Number 7.
Is it 7?
No, 13.
13. That's Jay Farrow Carpenter.
And Mark, that was just, you know, that was just basically being the big receiver against a small defensive back. And the quarterback, all he's got to do is throw it up there, and the receiver went and got it.
Yeah, got to hand it to Wharton. Put it in the right spot, didn't he?
Sure did.
Knew exactly what his receiver could do. That was Carpenter, 6'2", 180 pounds.
But you're going up against a guy 5, you know, 6, 5'4", 5'8".
All right, point after here is good. He's 4 of 5. Is Austin Frazier. 33-7 is our score in favor of the Hornets with just 18 seconds remaining here in this first half. Well, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Cash Imprints. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. Now, we mentioned that our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Well, what's your assessment now, Steve? Because it looks to me like the Hornets can score on big plays.
Well, right there, I mean, they answered Culpeper after Culpeper thought was getting some of the momentum back after they scored a touchdown. But then Orange's athletes took over, and their size and athleticism is just right now too much for Culpeper.
Well, is it fair to say that the Hornets have, just multiple weapons, a lot of guys they can go to hurt you?
Well, that's one aspect, I think, but they also got senior leadership, too. They also have a good quarterback, even though he's only a sophomore.
Right.
And basically, it's size. They also have the size over Culpeper. And Culpeper just had to be able to deal with them up front.
They keep it on the ground on the kickoff. J.Q. Williams picks it up. Return. Stiff arms one defender. Tries to stiff arm the second one. And he drags him for a few yards.
And it's going to be a horse collar tackle around the neck.
And that was a nice return, wasn't it, Steve?
Yeah, but it's going to be against Orange. It's going to be a horse collar tackle. The ref threw the flag and he's bringing him out of bounds.
All right, so if that's the case, and he assesses 15 yards against face mask.
Yep.
then let's see where that would push the ball, because now the Blue Devils have only 10 seconds here in the second quarter in which they would hope to get into the end zone.
Well, they're going to tack on 15 yards from the 35, so it's going down to the 20.
That would help the Blue Devil cause when they mark this one off. Again, only 10 seconds remaining in the second quarter, so you figure the Blue Devils have time for one, maybe two plays.
Yeah, they marked it on the 27 mark. 23, rather.
So if you're the Blue Devils, Steve, what do you think you draw up here, knowing you only have 10 seconds remaining in the quarter?
Well, you got to do some kind of pass, because I don't think you want to, or they might want to try to surprise them on that run where that quick hitter right up the middle, because Orange was expecting pass. Orange has got to watch out for that. But Culpeper, you got to get the ball into your athlete's best hands. And so who do they on offense? Who's their best athlete right now? Is that Polari? Is that Plaster?
Maybe Marshall.
Marshall, maybe. Number 16 for Culpeper.
Zavon Cooper, right?
Yeah, maybe him, or 18 as well. Well, we don't have an 18, but
well, it's interesting. J.Q. Williams listed on the roster as 18, but he also is 22, and he's wearing 22 tonight. Well, he wore 22 last week, didn't he?
Yeah, number 10's out here. That's David Holland, big kid. Haven't called his name all night. So.
Right, and that's a good observation. Is David Holland is wide left, and then Cole Plaster is in the slot left side. All right, here's Sutherland. Got a little bit of time. Got a receiver out there, and A.J. Marshall steps out of bounds. And so they do have time for the second play. So that was nice. They got down to the 15, and Marshall wisely goes out of bounds. And so they'll have another chance here, Steve, from the 15-yard line.
Yep, and Orange is, basically they've been told just don't let him get in the end zone. And Culpeper is going to have to try to throw it in the end zone here. We got 5 seconds.
So from the 15-yard line.
If you want to tell your offensive line, don't hold. Don't, just get good protection for me up front, the quarterback.
All right. Polari back there likely to block and provide some protection for Bennett Sutherland on what may very well be the last play of this second quarter. Sutherland was going to step up, and he tripped, possibly even over his own player. And that's how it looks like that's how this this quarter may. There's still 1 second showing.
1 second left.
Culpeper calls a timeout, Steve. So they'll have 1 second. You figure they'll just throw it for the end zone, perhaps?
Yeah, they got to. I mean, that's what else you going to do. I mean, or either try. If I were Culpeper, knowing this, I'd throw a screen pass. Something they're not expecting, or do an end around.
All right, let's check the formation here. A.J. Marshall.
Oh, going to try a field goal.
Well, they are going to try a field goal. Well, it's going to be from the 25. This will be a 35-yard field goal attempt for R.J. Uribe. Now it's going to be a fake. Cole Plaster goes under center. Now they'll call a timeout again. So I think they were trying to catch the Hornets off guard. But what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I like if he can make the field goal, I like that to be a good call. If Uribe can get it there, I mean, you got to get points on this out of this, put on the board quickly, and because Orange just went down and scored, and they're up 34-7. So Culpeper's got to do something here, and to get points on the board, it'd be a lot better going in 34-10 than 34-7. And with that, you're going to try to go for the home run and get it in the end zone. Very interesting.
Well, R.J. Uribe stays on the field. Maybe they line up for a field goal and actually go for it this time, or maybe they have a trick play again up their sleeves. Well, the holder is Cole Plaster, and the spot will be right at the 25-yard line, so this will be a 35-yard field goal attempt for R.J. Uribe, and I know that's in his range. It's a high snap. They get it down, and this one's going to be blocked. Well, he never had a chance, did R.J. Uribe. High snap to begin with. By the time he approached the ball, the Hornets were all over it. They simply smothered it, and that's how this first half is going to end. So the two teams will go to their respective locker rooms with the Hornets well out in front, 34-7. We'll take a break for our halftime show and come back for third quarter action. Keep it right here on the Culpeper Media Network. You're watching Blue Devils football.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, willing to take your trade and offer up to 125% of Kelley Blue Book Fair Trade value, along with a free trade appraisal. Battlefield Automotive, 547-3673. CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home Center, 825-2200. Found & Sons, more than a respected funeral home, they support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. 825-8371.
All right, well, welcome back to our broadcast. We are at Porterfield Park, where it is halftime, and the Hornets enjoying a 34-7 advantage. Mark O'Connell, Steve Peacock, Johnny Krawchuk with you tonight from Porterfield Park at Orange, Virginia. Paul Sizemore Field. Nicole Wooten back in the studio. Nicole, thanks for the work you're doing back there. Well, Steve, it's fair to say that the first half was lopsided. Would you not say that? And then Orange had some big play. The playmakers came up with some big touchdowns scores for them.
They did, Mark. Their playmakers shined through, which they're athletes, and they've proven it, in the first half, and really gave Culpeper all sorts of problems, and especially their huge defensive line has been giving problems to Culpeper's offensive line. Now, Culpeper's shown some moments of brilliance, for lack of a better word. They've been able to they were able to make one score, and they had good play calls and mixed up the pass with the run, and that's what you're going to have to see from here in this second half. And if I was Coach Ford and the staff, they're telling the boys, don't quit, don't give up. We got to keep fighting and see where the chips fall. But right now, the problem you got now with Culpeper is that they just, like I said in the first half, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but they just don't have the athletes that these teams have, and you're asking players to do more than what they're capable of, and that seems to be the problem. So they need to figure out, and maybe starting practice next week, back on Monday, they got to, even though it's Labor Day, they got to start, maybe going back to the beginning and say, hey, we got to make some changes around here, try to get some kids in different positions, but they've got to figure it up, and it all begins, like I said, up front.
Yeah, well said. Well, so Orange County had those 3 touchdowns in the first half by a fellow by the name of Wells. Goes by Dwayne Wells. 3 touchdowns. And one of those was on defense. And the Orange rushed out to a big lead. Blue Devils got a little bit of life back in them, Steve, when Devin Polari scored a touchdown for the Blue Devils. That was their only score. But then Orange answered. And they did so, as you pointed out, with their athletes. They had that touchdown from the touchdown pass from Orange quarterback Jeremiah Wharton to, Jay Farrow Carpenter in the end zone, where Wharton threw it in the right spot, and he knew that his receiver could get it with the height and athletic advantage. And then it was 34-7, our score now. But considering everything you've mentioned, are there some bright spots that as takeaways for the Blue Devils from that first half?
Well, I like the way Polari hit that run. I mean, that burst of speed, for the score of the first touchdown. And I liked what Cole Plaster was doing on the slant passes. He was able to get in front of the Orange defender to make some big-time catches. So, you got to build on that. And you got to, and again, you got to build on their running attack. They seem to have a couple with number 16 for Culpeper. Who was their running back? Devon.
Devon Cooper.
Devon Cooper.
Right.
And has a couple good runs. So they need to, they can build on that. But it's the little things, Mark. If you do the little things, big things will come. And what's happening here is that Culpeper is not really doing the little things right. They either make a mistake, or via a penalty, or they give up a big play, and that's what you got to get out of that team. You got to get out of that mindset. We can't not give up the big play. And I like to go back to back in 2019 when Coach Wakefield took them down to Culpeper all the way to state semis. They had a bend but don't break philosophy, and I think maybe that might be able to work for Culpeper. Hey, we might be able to give up some big chunks of yardage, but when we get inside that red zone, we're going to stiffen up. And they did right there in the first series of the first half. Mm-hmm. And they got to find that mentality to get back, I think.
Well, and then quarterback Bennett Sutherland, Steve, I think he could be a fine quarterback, but I think he's the kind of quarterback that's more of a drop-back passer, and that being forced, out of the pocket, it's just it's been too much for him with that pressure from the opposing team. First it was Eastern View last week, and now tonight Orange County. They've got the beef up front, but they got some athleticism. They're not just big kids.
Right.
These guys from Orange can play.
They can play and they can move.
Right. And so, yeah.
You're right. I agree with you 100%, Mark, is that their athleticism is giving Culpeper fits. And nothing against Bennett Sullivan. He might have a good arm and everything, but he's not your athletic quarterback. He's not going to be able to run away from pressure as much as somebody else that, like last week we had DeMaio Hunter, was able to escape and had a really good game.
Right, and he had the fast feet that, when he senses the defensive pressure coming, he's got the footwork really to get away from it. And I just think that that's not going to be Sutherland's forte. But some of the bright spots you mentioned, Polari on offense, but Polari plays well on defense too. Cole Plaster you mentioned. It's just it's very tough for the Blue Devils, Steve, and I think that again, as you mentioned, it starts up front. They need an offensive line that can develop some consistency and some continuity up there. But again, they were dealt a pretty bad hand this year, knowing that four of their 5 starters would have to be replaced.
Right, and then of course, they have one kid that's not here to play tonight. That's Aiden Curley, because he got thrown out the game last week. So he's not at number 50. He's not playing tonight. He was a starter on the offensive line, and so he's not playing tonight. So that caused some things to be mixed up, within your lineups and how you're going to play on your offensive line. But right now, the way with Bennett Sullivan, again, he doesn't have he does have the line, but he's also got to recognize when he is in the pocket, like we talked earlier, to be able to step up into that pocket instead of trying to run away from the pocket.
Right.
And if he just stepped up a couple of times, he might have been able to avoid a sack and could have made a completion down the field. And I think really he's got to work on is he gets too nervous. If he sees something, he's making one read one way, he's got to look off Plaster on that slant play and look on the out pattern, and he could have had a couple receivers right there with long pass. But he's trying to make his reads, but he's not making his reads, if you can make any sense of that.
I do, but for that to happen, still got to have the all-important time.
Time, exactly. And then the offensive line's got to count in their head. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. The quarterback's got to count that in his head, knowing that, hey, I got to get this ball released within 5 seconds. If I don't, especially if you're going to take only a 3-step drop. Now, if you're going to take a 7-step drop, then you better be able to, make sure you get the pass completed on screen plays and be able to find your receiver, because too many times in the first half, Sutherland took a 7-step drop back, but he got dropped by the pressure of Orange.
Well, and so the Blue Devils trail by 27 points, 34-7, as we edge much closer to the third quarter kickoff. And that brings me to my next point is that the Blue Devils will be kicking off to the Hornets, and they've already shown us that on offense they can be very dangerous. They can sting you very quickly. I am impressed with Orange's team. I'm impressed with their quarterback. I'm impressed with their athletes. they've got several people that they work into the mix that can hurt you in different ways. And as you pointed out, Steve, with the height and athleticism of the receivers, it's going to be hard for the Culpeper defensive backs to match up with that.
Well, and you think about Orange too, Mark. They're being in the Jefferson district.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're good, but look at Louisa. They won big last week. They're always good.
I heard that they were very good this year. Now, do you recall who Louisa defeated last week?
Huguenot.
Okay.
And then you got You've got Western Albemarle. They won big. They're good. And then you have also Albemarle, and they're now in the Jefferson District Division 4. They're going to be strong. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be a 3-horse race in the Jefferson District between Louisa, Western Albemarle, really a 4-team, and Orange. So Culpeper again in the battlefield. They've got to have to recognize. Pretty quickly, they got to get better.
Well, R.J. Uribe will tee it up for the Blue Devils. They'll be kicking off. The deep man back for the Hornets will be Christian Simpson. And, he showed us some of his skill level in that first half, didn't he?
He sure did.
So here is R.J. Uribe. Approaching and kicking off to start this third quarter. It's a short kick. Certainly want to kick away from Simpson's. Fielded at the 30-yard line. Now reversing his direction and being dropped short of the 40 is Orange County's Darius Holmes. But the short kick results in good field position for Orange County. So you pay a price by kicking away from a dangerous return man, knowing that you're probably going to give up some good field position.
You are, Mark, and you don't want to give it to like you said, the big deep return man to have him run it back. But now you put it on your defense right now. Hey, we got to get a stop. So.
All right, so the Hornets will start on offense here in the third quarter. Jeremiah Wharton is the quarterback. This time they'll feature 2 running backs back there. That's Bryant Childs and Christian Simpson. And they flank Wharton on either side until Childs goes in motion, and they swing it to him real quickly out of the backfield. They try to spring him, and he got across the 45 out. Well, let's check it. Is it at the 45, or are they going to mark it short of that? They are. They're going to mark it at the 44. So he picked up 6, brings up 2nd down and 4 for the Hornets.
Brought down there by Tucker Dean, Mark. Good play by Tucker.
All right, same formation here. No one in motion as Simpson gets the carry, reversing his direction. He got away from one Blue Devil defender. Now he gets behind the block. Culpeper territory 40. And Devin Polari tackles him just shy of the 30-yard line. So a big pickup by Christian Simpson. And, Steve, when he ran and didn't see any daylight, he reversed direction and picked up good yardage. And we have a Blue Devil player injured on the field.
And that's Polari that's down, Mark. He got hit with a big block and on the field.
I believe it's number 14 there. Yeah,
Cole Plaster. Yeah, excuse me.
That's all right because Polari wears 4 and Plaster 14. Okay.
And again, that was a good play by the Orange quarterback right there, and he's able to, the running back was able to get around and he reversed direction and everything else, and he found a lane. But it looks like, Cole, he took a big hit.
And, being attended to by Henry Wolf, the trainer, and Coach Ford is out there.
They can't lose him, Mark. They can ill afford to lose him.
Well, he's been really just one of their steady players here. He's on his feet now. That should elicit a round of applause here, and it does. As Devin Polari, the injured player, will go to the sidelines. We hope it's only
Cole
briefly.
Plaster.
I'm sorry, Cole Plaster. Now you corrected me. You said Polari. No, that's Cole Plaster. Then I said Polari. You said, no, that's Cole Plaster. Yeah.
Oh, well. It's hard to see sometimes. We're getting up in age.
It's been sort of a rude awakening, hasn't it?
Yep, sure has.
Well, after the first down play, Orange has it at the Culpeper 33-yard line. So they're going to play right now, the Blue Devils will, without Plaster, at least for this play. Wharton, long snap count. Hands it off, Bryant Childs. Off that left tackle side. Straight ahead he goes.
And Mark, you get, 4 or 5 yards on first down. I mean, that's a good run because you're setting yourself up, for a second and short and third and short. So easier, to convert on first down. And they're running right there, be big 71. That's for Orange. That is Chase Rollins, 6'5", 265, senior.
Mm-hmm. Well, we talked about they do have some good size up front. Line of scrimmage now the 26-yard line. It's 2nd down and 4 for the Hornets. 10:30 to play here in the third quarter. Wharton going to step up and throw. This one's going to be batted down. So good play by A.J. Marshall for the Blue Devils to bat that one down and force a third down.
I thought Marshall had a chance to intercept it, Marcus. That quarterback just kind of hung it up there. And, and now it's brings it up another third and about 5. Culpeper's going to tighten up right here, see if they can get pressure on this quarterback.
On the incomplete pass, the clock is stopped. 10:27 to play, and the Hornets looking at a 3rd and 4 from the Blue Devil 26. Jeremiah Wharton has got Bryant Childs. Simpson now in motion. They hand it off to Childs. Look at him go. He made a nice cut. Now he's going to head to the end zone. He'll get there from 27 yards out. Touchdown Hornets. It's Bryant Childs, his first touchdown of the game.
Mark, that was just really easy. Right there, just straight handoff right up in the middle, and they're able to run away from Culpeper secondary and for the touchdown.
And they come on for the point after. We'll make it 41. Now, if they went for 2 and converted, that'd be a 35-point advantage. I don't think they're thinking like that, as Bryant Childs, who just scored, will be the holder for Austin Frazier. Frazier's kick is up and good. Was he 5 of 6 tonight?
So now, now Culpeper's down 34 points, Mark, and now you just got to find, keep the boys, their heads in it, and what can the coaching staff, for Culpeper do here? And you lost Cole Plaster right now. Look like he's being evaluated on the sideline. He's one of your being injured. That really hurts the Blue Devils because he was going to give them, after Malachi Terrell, transferred to Blue Ridge, he was the heir apparent, and we've been missing him. And again, he's been injured, and that hurts the Blue Devils.
Yeah, because I thought he would probably be their primary ball carrier. Well, I said 5 of 6. I think Frazier is 6 of 7 instead. 41-7 our score. This broadcast brought to you in part by K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. All right. 10:21, so a minute, 39 seconds it took for the Hornets to score here in this third quarter. This one's going to be returned. This is A.J. Marshall. Marshall doing a nice job there. Still on his feet as he crosses the 40 out to about the 43-yard line. So Marshall and the Culpeper special team return unit here does a nice job. Did you see a penalty flag down? You did.
It's flag right here on the play. It might be against Culpeper. It could be a legal block. We'll see. They need to give Marshall the ball, Mark. Frankly, I'm speaking. Give it to him. He's a good big kid and runs the ball.
I sort of think of him as being maybe.
Oh, it's a face mask against Orange.
Maybe a receiving target.
Personal foul, the face mask on the Hornets on the kickoff return.
See, it's going to be a personal foul. It's going to be a 15-yarder.
All right, well, as they mark this one off, we will tell you that our live sponsor this year is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. 10-12 to play here, third quarter action. 41-7 in favor of the Hornets. And after that personal foul, the Blue Devils will now have it on offense at the Orange 41-yard line.
Hornet defense back on the field.
We'll see what they can do up here, Mark. See if they can find that magic again.
All right, well, Bennett Sutherland is in there with Devin Polari behind him. They go to Polari, and he is tripped up by Bryant Childs as Polari dives forward inside the 40, right at the 39. He'll give him 2 yards, bring up 2nd and 8.
And Mark, what I like about Polari running the football, he runs fast. He runs hard. He doesn't give up. He doesn't dance around the pocket. He sees that hole, he's hitting it.
Well, would you generally say he's a north-south type runner?
Exactly.
He stays in the backfield with Bennett Sutherland. Man in motion was David Holland before he lined up. Here's a quick slant and a throw. That looked like a catchable pass to me. That was intended for Garrett Damewood, and that'll bring up 3rd and 8.
See, and you know, Southern was starting to get a good rhythm with Cole Plaster in there in that slant. Now, you know, Plaster being hurt, nothing against Danewood, but Danewood, you know, the timing could be off just a little bit, and that really affects the quarterback.
All right, 3rd and 8, Blue Devils at the Hornets 39. Clock stopped, 9 minutes and 30 seconds to play after that incomplete pass. Our score, 41-7 in favor of Orange County. Devin Polari remains in the backfield alongside the quarterback, Bennett Sutherland. 3 receivers to the left. And we got an encroachment here unless he was drawn off. And that was big number 70. That's Christopher Frazier.
It's going to be offside against Orange. Now this made the Orange just gave him 5 yards, so that
makes it a more manageable 3rd down and 3 rather than 3rd down and 8.
And you got to look, being Culpeper being down so much, it's got to be, you know, this would be 2-down territory for the Blue Devils.
Right. Yeah, I think it would be at this point, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Devin Polari in the backfield. Again, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Bennett Sutherland in the gun. Here is 3rd and 3. Polari going to get the call, and he's going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up 4th down. And you mentioned this would be 2-down territory, Steve, so you think they go for it here?
Oh, yeah, they're going to go for it here. And he actually lost a little bit of yardage on that play. He ran into the old Wendy's commercial, where's the beef? Well, Polari found it.
If they were asking the question, they'd get a definitive answer here tonight, wouldn't they?
And it looked like Plaster's come back in. 14, he's back in.
Yeah, and you're right, and he's in the slot, left side, in between Marshall and Damewood to the left. This is 4th down and 4. Sutherland throwing. This one is bobbled, not caught. A.J. Marshall trying to haul it in, unable to.
It was a good effort, Mark. He tried to get in. I thought he might have had it, but even if he did catch it, he was going to be short of the 1st down. So now Culpeper turns it over on downs. Now you're going to look for the Orange offense to get their high-powered offense, high-octane offense on the field here.
And they'll be at their own 35. Well, this broadcast is brought to you in part by CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home Center. All right, Jeremiah Wharton and his fellow Hornets onto the field here in the 3rd quarter at their own 35-yard line. Low snap, Wharton gets it, quick toss to the far side, and not much doing as Culpeper's Justin Elkins comes up to make a quick stop on the receiver there, Brody Foran.
Yeah, it was actually a loss on the play right there.
Right.
Good defense by the Blue Devils, but they got to play heads up here.
So from the 34, now the clock is running, 8:15 to play, 3rd quarter action, 41-7 Hornets. We've got a whistle, maybe official to reset. And they do. Now Wharton sets the offense. He's got Christian Simpson back there with him. Simpson, the ball carrier. He's got an opening. No, that's not Simpson. It's number 6, Dwayne Wells. Watch Wells turn it on here. A.J. Marshall trying to save the touchdown, but it doesn't look like he can, as number 6, Dwayne Wells. Steve, that's his 4th touchdown of the night, and he scored it from 66 yards. Is that worthy of a replay?
That sure is, Mark. Look at this. He was able to hit that hole and run 66 yards down for pay dirt right here at the end zone. He was shot out of a cannon.
And A.J. Marshall was, he closed in on him, thought he might be able to stop him. Might have been academic anyway, because with the way this Hornet offense is in gear tonight, they're just picking up where they left off last week against Cortland, aren't they?
Yep, and now it's going to be a running clock after this.
All right, that was by Wells, 66 yards. We talked about Wells, we've talked about Simpson, and we talked about Childs as running backs who can really hurt an opposing defense. Now the point after by Frazier is no good, but 47-7 our score. So we have a 40-point advantage. Don't we roll into the continuously running clock?
Yep, you'll go into the continuous running clock right now, and the officials will be signaling it up there to the clock.
Scoreboard operator.
Yep.
Well, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Cash Imprints, from shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. And also Battlefield Automotive, willing to take your trade and offer up to 125% of Kelly Blue Book Fair Trade value, along with a free trade appraisal. That's Battlefield Automotive, 540-547-3673. Steve, I'd like for you to say that 5 times fast.
I'm not going to even attempt.
But 7:57 to play, and it's 47-7. Steve, what do you do if you're coaching the Blue Devils right now? What are you telling your team?
Mark, you just got to tell them not to give up. We're definitely playing a team that's better than us, and but we've contributed a lot to their scores by mistakes. And again, it goes back in the thing. You know, I think they got to totally regroup on practice on Monday.
Fair catch called by. Pardon me, Steve, for the interruption. Fair catch called by wisely. Number 10 is David Holland. Yeah, not to interrupt you. Go back to what you were saying about practice.
Yeah, I mean, they got to work on their fundamentals. They've got to get a established line up front and find, that's where it all begins, your offensive line. And they're allowing too much penetration. Is it their footwork is not there? They're definitely got the size, Mark, but they're not. There's something there that's missing, and that these Eastern View and Orange have been able to exploit.
Well, here's what I think. If you were limiting it to one noun, what does Orange have that Culpeper doesn't have in quantity, and that's going to be athletes?
Athletes, exactly. That you can give it to multiple people and they can get a score.
Absolutely.
Culpeper might have one or two.
Right, and we've rattled off several names of players that can really make their mark. Here is Sutherland throwing. He's got a receiver out there. That's A.J. Marshall along the Blue Devil sidelines. Looks like he may take it to the house because no one is there. And it is a touchdown. I don't see any penalty flags, Steve. If that play stands, that's good for 67 yards.
Touchdown, Blue Devils. But there is a flag on the play. Is it after the play he hit him? or
Steve, I think it was after the play.
But I think the Culpeper runner is kind of like stopped right at the end zone like he was going to do something.
That might be a celebration. Yeah. That's what I saw, but I could be wrong. So I think that what Marshall should have done is just maintain his pace until he crossed the plane and then just, okay, let's give the ball back to the official. But I think maybe what he did prior to that goal line might cost them a penalty, unless I'm way out in left field and it's something totally unrelated.
Well, did he cross the goal line? Did he stop right before he got in to admire his run? Which, if that was the case, I know Coach Ford isn't going to be happy with that. But we got to see, especially being down 47-7. Now they allow the score here to be 47-13.
Well, they're certainly talking it over. I think the play's going to stand. I think they're probably going to assess a penalty against him on the kickoff.
Yeah. Is
But
it going
it's
to be against Orange? Because the guy hit him after the play.
Right.
So we'll see.
But then there you get into, well, wait a minute, he stopped.
Yeah.
So, if he stopped prior to the goal line, then you would expect a defensive player to, if he's in position, to make a hit.
Exactly.
But then I'm not an official, and I don't know. I could be way. Here's the call from the referee. So it is an unsportsmanlike against Culpeper. Yeah.
Personal foul against Orange.
So is this going to offset? It's a touchdown.
It is a touchdown. Okay.
So both
Penalties on both teams on that play.
Both teams were penalized.
So touchdown, it does stand.
And I think those penalties seem to offset. And like they say,
They're going to let the score stand, so we don't go back to a running clock anymore.
well, Steve, does that remind you of what happened last week in the Eastern U game where Marshall was just like shot out of a cannon?
He was.
And he outran everyone.
Yeah, ran him. Well, where's he been? I mean, we got to get him the ball. I mean, if I was Coach Ford instead, we got to find some way to get 23 the football.
Well, where's it, 24?
20.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah, 24.
But, we were talking about just a moment making the distinction between the two teams in the category of athletes. This one bobbled. Plaster picks it up. He's going to look for a little bit of help. And he's going to throw it to the end zone. He's got a receiver. It is Devin Polari. How about this one? Plaster to Polari for the point after.
2 points.
For the 2-point after.
Yep.
That's good. Well, that was busted. Plaster had to handle a bad snap. He got up with it. Looked for the end zone for some help. He found it in Devin Polari. So Polari has a touchdown and a 2-point conversion tonight. Now it's 47-15. But we were just talking about the category of athletes. Decisive advantage to Orange, and yet we saw one of Culpeper's best athletes in A.J. Marshall take it to the house.
Yep, he did. He took it right to the house, and there was nobody there from Orange could catch up to him. And it's like you said, he was shot out of a cannon right down that right sideline.
Well, so now the advantage is 32 points, which means we don't go to a continuously running clock.
No, I mean, next score, if Orange scores again, it'll go back. But right now, it's going to be regular game clock and see what Culpeper's going to try to do here. But, I mean, they got to look at the good positive moments on this game. I'm going to be perfectly frank here. They're not going to win this football game. But they can learn from it. They can learn what did wrong, what was wrong, and what worked and what was right. And big things right now is Marshall be able to way he runs that football. And if they can get Jakari Edwards back next week, then that might change some things for the Blue Devils. They might get some better athletes.
Well, and then speaking of next week, on our schedule is to film the game at home between the Blue Devils and Fauquier Falcons. What, if anything, do you know about the Falcons this year?
I don't know. Did they win last week? I don't know.
I didn't check their score.
They'll
be on our radar this week, though.
Yeah.
No doubt. If we stay on track or scheduled to cover the Culpeper game next week, that means a home game, Broman Field, against the visiting Falcons of Fauquier. Well, a lot of football to play here at Porterfield Park. Third quarter action, 7:05 to play. And R.J. Uribe will kick off. He'll try the onside kick. You got a guy up there in front, a good hands player. Number 55 for Orange making the play, Andrew Lee. There he is. So the onside attempt fails for the Blue Devils, and when it fails, that means your opponent has outstanding field position.
Mark, just got a little score update. It's a college score, but Tech's losing to Old Dominion 10-7 at the half.
It's hard to get past those Monarchs.
Yeah.
So Virginia Tech losing to Old Dominion?
That would be an upset. But it'd be the Old Dominion beat them 2 years ago, so you could do it again.
Yep.
Virginia's got to play Richmond tomorrow, and Richmond's going to be, it's not going to be a pushover. And plus the Hoos get Old Dominion too.
But are the Spiders venomous this year?
Yeah, they're ranked 24 in FCS.
Okay, well, how about that? Richmond Spiders. All right, here the Hornets back on offense at midfield. And Wharton going to go downfield. This one is going to be picked off by A.J. Marshall. So Marshall scores a touchdown a few minutes ago, and then on defense gets the turnover And that pass was intended for Orange County's
Number 13.
Jay Farrow Carpenter. Now, he had a touchdown in that second quarter, but Marshall was in excellent coverage there.
He keeps saying the ball was dropped and bobbled, but the officials say no, it was intercepted. So, again, Marshall's all over the field, and I think Orange's coach is getting a little and say to his team, we got to find where he is.
Yeah.
And we're not going to throw to him, and we're not going to, we're not going to let him catch a pass on offense.
Well, Culpeper will start after the interception at its own 19-yard line. They trail 47-15, 6:56 to play here in this third quarter. Bennett Sutherland in the gun. Polari blocking for him as Sutherland rolls right, throws downfield, does have a receiver. It's caught near the 35-yard line, and that's Cole Plaster. And the hit made by Orange County's Nazir McIntosh. But that'll move the sticks in a first down for the Blue Devils.
Yep, and Culpeper's now finding a little bit of momentum right here. Again, Orange is going through like spurts, Mark. That they're going to have to take lessons from this too if they ever want to win that Jefferson District with the teams they got to play against. So they can't let up on any play.
Looks like we're going to have a official timeout.
And what's the?
He's
got blood.
All right. Well, that's
One, Uribe.
Well, R.J. Uribe was lined up as a receiver.
Yep.
How about that? And then coming on in his place, looks like jersey number 19. That's Riley Lentz. Steve, he's in the game tonight for the first time. We saw him in action last week as a substitute quarterback, didn't we?
All right. Mm-hmm.
First and 10 now from the 33. They go to the run. This is Polari. No, this is Polari off that left tackle. Got in behind the blocking there of number 53, Larry Williams.
And 74 for Culpeper as well. And that is
Jaden Johnson. Yeah.
See, they got some big boys up there. They just got to learn, figure out who's going to be wants to play. Who's gut check time.
Mm-hmm. To the 37. 4-yard pickup.
And you got to give Culpeper credit. The coaching staff, they're not giving up. They're running their plays. And they're finding, some positives out of this game.
Here is 2nd and 6. That's Danewood in motion. And back to Polari. And a nice tackle made by Orange County's Dwayne Wells. Well, has Wells had a pretty good football game here tonight, Steve?
Yeah, he hasn't been off the field, has he?
Was he got 4 touchdowns or is it 3?
3 touchdowns, I think.
Yeah. And one of those on defense. Substitution change here. And got the Orange County player hustling to the sidelines. John Ryder moving pretty quick for that big guy at 6
There's
feet.
a big bull running off the field.
Yeah.
Third down for your Hornet defense.
All right, big third down here for the Blue Devils, Mark.
Sure is. 3rd and 6 from the 37, approaching the 5-minute mark of this third quarter. Polari alongside Sutherland. Here come the Hornets. They fake it to Polari, and they try to hook up with Plaster. That would have been a first down. It was outside his reach. And coming up defending quickly was Jared Payton of Orange County, and it brings up a 4th down. Well, this broadcast brought to you in part by Found & Sons, which is more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. That's Found & Sons, 825-3530.
Mark, they're going to go for it here in 4th down, deep, Culpeper's own, on their own, looks like, 37, 36-yard line?
Yeah, sure is. Well, they line up to go for it. Well, you're down by 32 points. Maybe you don't have any choice. They fake it to Polari. Now they throw it. This one is picked off. Dangerously thrown pass, and in excellent tight coverage was Nazir McIntosh, who gets the pick for Orange County. That's their 2nd interception tonight.
Well, he read Bennett Sutherland's eyes. Bennett's got to look that defender off because they know they wanted to get it to Marshall, and they were just sitting on it. And again, Sutherland just threw it right in there, and the orange defender made a good jump on the ball and was able to intercept it.
So Orange takes over at the Blue Devil 36. Second interception. Well, that was really tight coverage anyway, Steve. He would have really had to thread the needle and hope for a little bit of help.
He just
as well.
doesn't have that quite enough arm strength for that play.
All right, Hornets back on offense. Wharton, the quarterback, handing off. And this is Wells spinning his way down to the 30-yard line, a pickup of 6 yards on the play.
You know, if I was the coach of Orange, I wouldn't even try to pass here. I'd just be running the football, run the clock down, and put it in your best athlete's hands, Wells, and let him feed them.
In the backfield, Christian Simpson back there with quarterback Jeremiah Wharton. Wharton will throw it, swing it to the left, and a nice hit made by Devin Polari, and also with the initial contact was Culpeper's number 21, Justin Elkins.
First time we've called his name, number 21.
Gain of 1, 3rd down and 3.
Now
All right, 3rd and 3 now, Hornets from the 29 of Culpeper. Clock continues to run. Late here in the 3rd quarter, this is a handoff to Wells. There's going to be a face mask call, I think, against the Blue Devils here. Larry Williams as getting down to the 15-yard line. Good running there. Orange County's Dwayne Wells.
Yeah, but and Williams, he had to do that or he would have scored the touchdown. But it's going to be 15 yards. It's going to be a flagrant. And so they're going to mark this off.
Was that half the distance of the goal, or
Is that the 18?
Right. Okay, that'd be down at the 3-yard line.
Be on the 3-yard line.
Yeah, that was a little obvious, an easy call to make there.
Well, they are going to just do half.
It is half the distance, isn't it? So that's a 7?
Yep.
All right. Well,
on the 8, they're saying 8.
So it's 1st and goal now for the Hornets. Jeremiah Wharton, Christian Simpson. Simpson loses it but picks it back up. Nice hands by Simpson. He's tackled at about the 6. Culpeper's Larry Williams on the tackle for Culpeper.
Orange is lucky there. They didn't drop the football.
Going to work this clock and maybe punch it in here late in the 3rd quarter. They're already up by 32 points. Here's Wharton. Simpson on his left. Another low snap. Wharton throws it up for grabs. They had the height advantage with the receiver, but Cole Plaster doing a nice job in coverage. That pass was intended for Brody Foran.
Well, what happened was Plaster looked back at the last minute to find that football. If he hadn't done that, it would have been pass interference against him. But he made a good play. Just at the last second, he was able to see where that ball is and made a good coverage.
Well, Cole Plaster's on the roster at 5'6".
Yeah.
And certainly giving up some height to the receiver. Now here is Christian Simpson, and Simpson's going to be able to walk it in unmolested for another Orange County touchdown. That's going to make it 53-15 with 2:49 to play, Steve.
Yep. Again, that was too easy, Mark, right there. Now Culpeper's getting tired a little bit, I think. And because Orange has just been, up and down the field with them. And we'll see what they're going out for an extra point.
Well, the scoring spree continues for the Hornets, Steve. Really lighting up the scoreboard tonight.
Yeah, they're going to have an illegal substitution against Orange because they didn't get off the field in time. I saw number 5 running. Let's see what the ball is. It's going to be illegal substitution. Now, does Orange go for 2 or does they still go for the field goal?
Go the point after.
Well,
they've got what, a 38-point lead? Is that, yeah, 38-point lead. So you're going to have the continuously running clock whether they go for 1 or 2.
That's true.
Childs is the holder. Austin Frazier getting a pretty good workout tonight with that leg and all the extra points. This one's up and good, 54-14. Well, this is a, I think the noun I'll use is a walloping. You like it?
A walloping.
Well, there's no reason to try to sugarcoat it. It is what it is.
You're right. I mean, it's they've been getting taken to the woodshed. So
I want to look at the roster. Check the Culpeper. You have a number 3 there.
yes, we do. Caleb Green. He's the one called up from
I was
JV.
thinking. And then number 25 for Culpeper, Steve. That's Hunter Wilkins. He's on the special teams.
Yeah, and this Riley
Lentz.
Lentz was called up too.
Yeah.
So
So getting some varsity play.
and they're getting a rude welcome to the varsity level. But right now, like I said, for Culpeper, I'd be like, you know that AJ Marshall can run the football. Anthony Marshall, you know he can run it and play. I'll be looking at him next week, make sure he's one of my playmakers I'm going to get the ball to.
We want to get the ball into the hands of A.J. Marshall, just like you said. And this is Marshall right here. And another good return and just some extra effort by Marshall trying to give his team a lift and making the most of it. He's going to get it out to about the 38-yard line. Nice return.
Yeah, Marshall's listed 6'1", 175. He's a senior. And, he's, like I said, he's had a good game.
Really has. Now, we get Jakari Edwards back. That'll be helpful.
Yep.
But, Steve, you still got to shore up that offensive line, and you got to give Sutherland some time to operate.
Uh-oh, now got a flag, and that's going against number Tucker Dean for mouthing off the official and sportsmanlike I saw him.
Well, and the Hornets are celebrating knowing that penalty flag is going to work against their opponents.
Yeah, you can't mouth off at the official if you're in the offensive line. And he just said to him, and lucky the official didn't toss him. So it's sportsmanlike Culpeper.
All right, so that'll cost them 15 yards, and they're going to mark it off from the 38. That'll push it back to the 23 when they're done.
I think Mr. Dean had some choice words to say or something, the official didn't like it. And now he's coming out, looks like.
What?
No, yeah, that's 8. That's Polari. Whose number is that? 8. Who's number 8?
That's
Tanner
Griffin Tanner.
Griffin Tanner's coming in. So explain to the coaching staff what happened. They haven't marked off the ball yet.
All right, here comes the mark off. The official says, I'll have to get out of my way so I can mark this thing off.
And again, that's the things too. That's a frustration penalty, and I get it. But you're hurting your team. You're hurting your team.
So it's at the 24-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where it's first down and 25.
I'd say it's going to be a running clock.
Yeah.
First down and 25.
So this game is really going to move pretty quickly now as Bryant Childs able to penetrate that Blue Devil background and drop Polari before he can get rolling.
Yeah, Polari got smacked.
That was a nice tackle by
Yep.
Childs.
It was. He just tackled right there at the legs.
Yeah, just a good fundamentally sound tackle. And Bryant Childs is one of these Hornets plays on both sides of the football, and he's played well for the team, no doubt about it. We've seen great production out of guys like Christian Simpson and Dwayne Wells. We mentioned Childs. Jay Farrow Carpenter, that touchdown catch. And then, of course, the play of Jeremiah Wharton at quarterback. And they've got the size up front, but as you pointed out, Steve, they have the football skills to go along with that size.
They do.
Here is J.Q. Williams going nowhere as Chunk decides he's going to put the finishing touches on the end of that play.
And then they just threw it. Now Chunk's going to get called.
Is he?
Yep, for unsportsmanlike, because it was after the whistle and he flung him down.
Did they throw a penalty?
Yep, right
Okay.
there. There it is.
Well, Chunk just couldn't let go.
He couldn't let go. He was feasting.
Yeah.
And they're going to say late hit. He didn't get the defensive player.
All right, they'll mark it off. It'll be at the Culpeper 40. But again, even with the penalty, that clock is running. So
Yep.
pay attention. This one's going to go quickly from this point on.
And again, still the Blue Devils still looking at second and about 10.
Sure are.
And I think Culpeper's just going to let this.
Second and 9.
I think they're going to let this thing run out.
Yeah, you may be right. Not in any hurry here. And this clock, this third quarter is going to expire before the Blue Devils can get a playoff. All right, that's how the third quarter ends with our score. Orange County 54, Culpeper 15. We'll take a break and come back to the fourth and final quarter right after this.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, willing to take your trade and offer up to 125% of Kelly Blue Book Fair Trade value, along with a free trade appraisal. Battlefield Automotive, 547-3673. CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home Center, 825-2200. Found & Son, more than a respected funeral home, they support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. 825-8371.
Okay, welcome back to our broadcast and to the start of the fourth quarter. Bennett Sutherland going to throw. A.J. Marshall on the receiving end. Marshall trying to spin away from the grasp of Orange County's Brody Foran, unable to do so. But it brings up third down and about 7 for the Blue Devils. And Steve talked about that continuously running clock. Just tell the fans, if we start this fourth quarter, don't expect it to last long.
No, it'd be a running clock. It only stops on penalties or injury timeouts.
Culpeper has the ball at the 43-yard line. It's 3rd and 6 as we start this fourth quarter. And again, that clock is going to go quickly. Bennett Sutherland gone the distance for the Blue Devils here tonight. He's going to roll to his left. He's going to look downfield. He's going to have a receiver. It's going to be caught by Cole Plaster. Reminded me a little bit of Cole Beasley on that play, Steve.
Yeah.
Because he looks for yards after the catch. He doesn't go automatically down. And Cole Plaster has played well for the team.
Yeah.
You know, A.J. Marshall is really the athlete on this team. Then you have these tough, gritty performers like Cole Plaster and Devin Polari. They need a few more.
Yeah. They do. They need and bigger guys too.
Ball at the Orange County 44-yard line. It's 1st and 10. Keep your eye on that clock because, again, this one's going to move quickly. A.J. Marshall to the right, along with Garrett Danewood. 2 receivers to the left. Bennett Sutherland. He's going to swing it out to Polari out of the backfield, and Polari will get down to the Orange 40-yard line, and the clock will continue to run. Here in the fourth quarter at Porterfield Park, it's been virtually all Orange County here tonight.
It sure has, Mark. And it's just Orange has really imposed their will tonight against a really, I think, overmatched Culpeper team.
Well, again, we mentioned it. I mean, it's certainly the category where Orange really has a decisive advantage. It's got to be in the athletes department.
Yeah, and also at the line, in the trenches, too, at the line of scrimmage. They have athletes up there, too, as well. Not just your skill players.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So Sutherland here on 2nd down. Looks like the protection will hold up this time as he throws downfield. And he's got Plaster. And Plaster was able to get a few yards after the catch. And I think he's a little disappointed because I think he lost his footing and he knows that
Yeah.
that might have been 6. But still, it was nonetheless a nice play by Cole Plaster. And they gave Sutherland time to throw, and he found the mark out there.
So how much they down? What by?
Was it 39? Yeah, 39 points.
So if they Culpeper scores, the clock goes back.
That's right. And, yeah, good point. They've got it. 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. Well, Sutherland, of course, the quarterback. Devin Polari on his right. 2 receivers both to the left and to the right. Here's Sutherland. He's going to throw it, and he was throwing it to Plaster, unable to hook up with him there.
Yeah, he's turning on that little slant pass. Now look for him, I still think they're going to try to throw to Marshall, too, with his height. Because right now, when you're inside the red zone like that, Mark, the field becomes more compact. And so I think it works more to a defensive advantage than an offense.
Yeah, that's what they say. And so certainly the Hornets are keenly aware of A.J. Marshall out there, but Plaster's come up big for them. Let's see if they go to him. Here comes the pressure. Sutherland is not going to be able to get away from it as Bryant Childs once more making a big solo tackle for the Hornets.
That was a big play there by Childs for Orange.
At the 16, he lost 7 yards on the play. So if the Hornets thwart the Blue Devils' thrust and attempt to score here, that clock will remain continuously running.
Yep. And it's running right now.
Sure is.
What can Culpeper do here? Third and goal from the 16.
Bennett, Sutherland, quarterback. He's got Polari on his left. 3 receivers to the left. Marshall to the right. Ball is dropped, and Sutherland is forced to pounce on it. And he's looking at the official, but I don't know what he's expecting the official to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying that he was saying that I think Chunk got involved. Number 74 was in there before the ball was snapped.
Well, when I see his mom next week, I'm going to say I can't tell you how many times we said Chunk.
Well, Chunk's on the sideline. This is big number 74 now.
Well, what's his name?
I don't know. His name 74 is.
It's John Ryder, but I'm talking about what is his nickname.
Oh, I don't know. Stump.
Oh, Stump. Okay. And it's his grandmother, I know. I wonder how she'll.
She might not like that.
I don't know. And she's the kind of person that if she doesn't like something, you're going to know about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, here's Sutherland. He's pressured, and he's hit as he throws the ball, and we got a penalty flag at the end of this one. Yeah. Will this be a roughing the passer?
It's going to be roughing the passer against Orange.
Well, Faust.
And that's going to be automatic first down. So
Caleb Faust isn't happy about it, Steve. Was do you think that was a fair call?
I think it was, I don't know. I mean, I think Bennett, talking to officials on the previous play, he maybe talked the officials into throwing the flag as a personal foul, but now that's going to be an automatic first down and 15 yards. So now it's going to be back. Is that going to be half the distance? No, it isn't. They're going to mark it all the way down to 6.
Well, if they're down at the 6-yard line, certainly have an opportunity here.
Yep. Sure did. I mean, it was borderline. I think what happened was they picked him up and drove him into the ground.
Okay, well, then that will bring a penalty, no doubt. All right, 1st and goal now from the 6. Polari in that backfield. Marshall in the slot on the right. They're going to look for the receiver, and it's going to be caught, it looks like, by Cole Plaster from 6 yards out. Let's check that, Steve, just to make sure we got the right guy, and it is, because Plaster's got one of the dirtiest jerseys in the stadium.
Touchdown, Blue Devils. Sutherland to Plaster, 6 yards out for the TD.
5:48 to play, makes it 54-21. It is a 33-point advantage now for the Hornets, so they'll suspend the continuously moving clock, but we're late in the 4th quarter with 5:48 to play. I guess the Blue Devils will go for 2 here, won't they?
Yep. And, when people might look at the box score tomorrow in the paper or wherever, and they look at it and say, oh, well, Culpeper did, pretty well. The score is not indicative of how much dominant tonight Orange was.
Right. If If by well, you mean they've scored 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
But Sutherland is going to lose this one, and then he's going to be sacked for a huge loss. So the score will remain 54-21. 33-point advantage. The clock will go back to running conventionally, not continuously. You know, that almost rhymed.
Yeah.
Well, here in the fourth quarter, we'll tell you this broadcast is brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, willing to take your trade and offer up to 125% of Kelley Blue Book fair trade value, along with a free trade appraisal. That's Battlefield Automotive, 540-547-3673. Also want to mention at this time, Found & Sons, more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530. No, you're right, Steve. If you were to look in the paper and say, hey, they scored 21 points. No, not indicative of how this game played out.
Right.
It's been a dominant performance by Orange. They've got some athletes. They've been able to impose their will, I really think, on both sides of the football.
I do too, Mark. I mean, they played sound football. I mean, if they had made a couple mistakes, the score would have been even worse. But, you know, Culpeper, like I said, they got a lot of regrouping to do. Now, it looks like they're lining up all sides. I've never seen an onside kick lineup like this. You know, I mean, that's kind of.
It is a unique formation, isn't it? I'm sure they've been practicing it. It's got to go 10 yards. And it does. Looks like the Blue Devils may have recovered that one. That was well conceived and executed. And let's check and see who got it. Was it Plaster? Yes, it was.
Yeah, caught Orange napping a little bit there on that onside. They thought it was going to go. I think they thought it was going to go out of bounds, and it did.
Well, you know, it was well done, wasn't it? Because you know Orange knew they were doing it. But the way that Uribe kicked it was just, I don't guess you really couldn't do it any better than how that one played out. So now the Blue Devils have it on the Orange side of midfield. That means Bennett Sutherland and his offensive teammates will get another crack at this Orange defense.
And I think the Orange defense is getting a little irritated right now that they've allowed Culpeper to do this, and you know, but give Culpeper credit, they're not quitting.
Well, and that's one of the things that you said about the team. I said, you know, at one point when you look at the score, the differential, and how lopsided it was. What do you tell your players? And you say, well, you know, you can't give up. You got to keep playing. And here's Cole Placer. He may lament that one for the rest of his high school career because he was wide open, and he doesn't drop many.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe it was too easy.
He was wide, and Sutherland laid it right in there, and Plaster just dropped it. He knows it. That would have been a 6, too.
Yeah, well, you know, they say you don't get the two-overs. Plaster's played well for this Blue Devil team.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you drop a pass like that, you remind people, hey, I'm mortal. But maybe it was too easy, Steve. Maybe it was just too wide open.
Yeah,
He's used to catching it in traffic, right?
That's true. I mean, it just what happened was he took his eyes off his last. He didn't look it in.
Yeah. Well, the eyes may have begun to feast too soon, knowing this is going to be a real good thing. And all you got to do is take your eyes off of a fraction of a second. Now, this pass was thrown a little behind the intended receiver, Charles Holland. It'll bring up 3rd and 10 now from the 46.
Yeah, but you see, now the clock stops, though, because it's, 33, not 35.
Right. Here in the fourth quarter, 5:38 remaining. With the clock stopped, the Blue Devils can take their time getting off this offensive play. Bennett Sutherland rolls to his right, going to throw near side. A.J. Marshall tries to make the move on the defender. And Marshall tends to pick up a few yards after each catch, doesn't he?
He's a strong kid, Mark, and I'll be sitting there running. I'll be giving him the ball, too. I'll be feast on it.
Well, this broadcast brought to you in part by Cash Imprints, from shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. Clock stop, 5:29 to play. 1st and 10, Blue Devils at the Hornets 32.
We're going to go from the quickest running clock probably to the slowest.
It can work both ways, can it?
Yep. Slowest 5 minutes.
Pressure, throwing on the slant, incomplete. He intended that one for David Holland, nowhere near him.
And it's going to be another personal foul, roughing the passer on Orange.
All right, that'll be a first down. They'll mark it off. Steve, that'll give me a chance to give credit to our sponsors, including CFC Farm and Home Center, supplying your lawn and garden, pet, and farm needs since 1932. Hometown pricing and outstanding service at CFC Farm and Home Center. Also, K&M Lawns, Garden and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. It's K&M. From grass to trees, they aim to please. All right. They mark it off. It's 1st and 10 now for the Blue Devils. And they've got it, Steve, at the 18-yard line, 17-yard line.
Yep.
Whistle, stoppage.
What's the play called? Stop this time.
There was a flag on that far side.
Oh, he's telling them to quit talking. Yeah, I think they were getting exchanging some pleasantries.
Well, that marks off another 5 yards. That puts it down to the 12-yard line. A little closer for the Blue Devils. Steve, are you thinking
What was the call there then?
I don't know. Was it offside?
Might have been offsides. I thought they were just telling the players to stop chirping at each other.
Mark at the 12. Polari picks up a block there. Here comes some pressure from Childs. He's chasing Sutherland, and he drags him down just shy of that 5-yard line. Sutherland picked up about 6 yards.
Did you see where Childs came all the way from his backside linebacker? That showed some burst of speed there.
He sure did.
But right now, Mark Culpeper was just like I said, they got to find players, to get, and be able to pigeonhole them. But last season started like this, remember? 0-4, and then they came back and rattled off 5 straight wins, and maybe they can do it again this year.
Well, that is true.
I mean, they still got to beat King George. They got to play King George and, all the Battlefield teams, and King George is loaded. They got a big game against Massaponax tonight.
That would be interesting to know how that one plays out. Here's yet another penalty flag, and this is going to be offsides against
Orange.
And that'll move the ball to the 2-yard line.
Yep.
So certainly Culpeper be happy to take those gifts.
Well, I mean, this also helps the football team. It eases the sting a little bit or applies salve to the wound if they can score here and make it kind of respectable.
Well, Steve, I'm going to say it was a half-distance penalty, so it'll make it at the 3, rather.
Yep.
Well, you got those pipes warmed up, Steve. I think they ought to be able to punch it in from here, don't you?
I think they can.
Will they go to Polari here on 1st and goal from the 3? No. Sutherland looking for a receiver. Going to keep it, and he's going to dive into the end zone from 3 yards out.
Touchdown, Blue Devils. Sutherland from 3 yards out on a quarterback keeper in for the end zone TD.
Makes it 54-27 with 4 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. And you figure the Blue Devils likely go for 2 here.
And, they're going to go for an onside kick, so.
You know that's coming. Well, R.J. Uribe and that kickoff team executed an onside kick the last time to perfection. And the Blue Devils took advantage of it, and they have scored on this drive to cut into that lead. It's a 27-point advantage for Orange, and the Blue Devils have lined up for the 2-point try. Sutherland has Polari on his right. Polari looks to block. Sutherland looks to the end zone, and it's picked off. And it was courtesy of Orange County's Brody Foreign. And that's how that 2-point play is killed.
So now Culpeper's going to attempt the kickoff again, and Orange, I think, is going to put their hands people up front this time because Orange, all they got to do now is just run the football and run the clock out and make Culpeper use his timeouts.
I think the public address announcer is announcing some scores. Were you able to pick up any of those?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned that we're live, and our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. So the Hornets were doubled up over the Blue Devils, Steve, 54-27. 4:10 to play. Eastern View playing Liberty tonight. Next week we plan on
We got the Falcons.
continuing our coverage of the Blue Devils as they play host to the Falcons of Falk here. R.J. Uribe and that kickoff team is lined up in the identical position they were in last time. Here's the kick, and the Hornets do a much better job of fielding this one right at that 40-yard line.
Yeah.
It was the good hands man was number 13, Jay Farrow Carpenter.
Yeah, Uribe didn't get the bounce like he got in it
Yeah.
last time. So
Well, it seems like the bounce of the ball is pretty much everything, isn't it?
sure is. And so now you're going to see, Orange and coaches talking to their team, and I think they're putting some backups in right now and get a chance to play.
And maybe it's not fair for me to say that the bounce is everything, but it's a huge part of it, because that bounce, as that ball bounces, either gives you a good opportunity to recover it or it takes it away from you.
Yep, you're right.
So Orange County go back on offense at its own 40. With 4:09 to play in this one. Let's see if they've made any changes, and I think they have, Steve.
Yep.
15, Christopher Locker is the new quarterback. But that's not a new ball carrier in Dwayne Wells. He's had a pretty good outing tonight here, both on the offensive and defensive side of the football. We've got a shaken up Blue Devil holding that right leg or knee.
I think it could be a cramp maybe.
All right, let's take a quick break, come back when the action resumes. Keep it right here on the Culpeper Media Network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, 547-3673. CFC Farm and Home Center, 825-2200. Found & Son, 825-3530. Cash Imprints, 317-1473. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supply, 825-8371.
All right, welcome back to our broadcast. The player likely with the cramp was Devin Polari. He's had a good game for the Blue Devils tonight, Steve.
Sure has.
Been a bright spot out there in a game that, well, really has been virtually dominated all night by the Hornets.
We got big number 77 in for the first time, Culpeper. That's big Hunter North. 6'3", 320 pounds.
Well, we mentioned the Hornets have gone to their reserves. We got a new quarterback in there. It's Christopher Locker, and a new running back getting his first carry. I believe he's check number 14 for your Orange roster, because he's not on this one. And tell me what you have.
I do not have a number 14.
Okay, he may have been someone pulled up from that JV squad, Steve.
The Phantom Blair.
And he's coming to the sidelines now. Remaining in the game is Dwayne Wells. He's a sophomore. He's had a big game for the Hornets tonight. We talked about the backup replacement at quarterback, Christopher Locker. He replaces Jeremiah Wharton, who played very well for the Hornets. And here is Wells continuing to inflict some damage and virtually takes the whole team to bring him down. Finally, big number 75, Genoa Lane, put the maybe the last application of weight on the play to finally bring him down. But it was as if Wells just wasn't going to go down, Steve.
No, he wasn't. He wanted to keep running. He was running hard, and now the clock will start again once the change is set.
Well, we were talking about that. You know, when it's continuously running, you got to pay close attention or it gets away from you. And then likewise, when it's not, sometimes it can slow down and it just seems like it can last forever.
Yep.
But
See,
this,
they want to score against Orange's backups. You know they do. I mean, Culpeper's got to recognize that.
well, you put your reserves in. You can't expect them not to play hard and do the best they can. And then you have movement right here on this right side. And maybe a little pushing action, but the Orange player does well not to come back and try to retaliate there.
And it's going to be against Orange.
That was Trey Clatterbuck. No, I think that if it's
Yeah.
going to be against Culpeper.
Yeah, it's Culpeper, is what I thought. He started going this way.
Mm-hmm.
First and 5.
Whoops, wrong direction. Put it in reverse. All right. They mark it now at the 29-yard line. Clock stop, 2:15 to play. Fourth quarter. Your quarterback now is Christopher Locker. And he hands off to the player whose jersey number 14. We don't have a name to go along with it. You're seeing some other players in there too, Steve. Number 34 for Culpeper's Riley Vineyard. Number 33. All right, check number 33 on your Culpeper roster.
That is Jack Lehman.
Okay, because he didn't make it on what the Orange County High School had tonight to provide to us. We have our roster that was provided by Coach Ford. So you said 30, his number again?
33, Jack Lehman.
Okay. Orange County right tackle Trenton Ratliff, that big number 75's got some playing time in there. We go back to the run.
Big Genoa Lane was in there on that one. Big number 75 for Culpeper. On that tackle.
Now, Steve, take a look at number 14 and take a look at his helmet and contrast it with his teammates and see if you notice anything different about it.
Found cell phone from the women's restroom.
I got 14. Yeah, it doesn't have any stripes on it. It's like a practice helmet.
Well, it's just one of those things, that you just sort of notice as being.
Yeah.
Doesn't
have anything on it.
Here's a helmet for you, son.
Yeah. Go out there, boy.
Get on out there and do the best you can. make the most of it. Well, and actually he is.
Yeah, he is.
Never mind that stripe that's not there. He's playing pretty well. We got another. No, it's not a penalty flag. I was looking at someone's yellow shoes.
They're just going to take. Yeah, now they're just going to take it a knee and come on off the field.
In fact, they're going to let those final 30 seconds tick off. Is it mercifully?
I just remember going back back 50 years ago when I played and all that. I mean, your Orange scored. We were 9-6, 6-3, 14-7. They were just brawls, but not here lately.
Well, Stevie's last seconds are ticking off now. 5 and counting. We might as well wrap it up. We've been talking tonight, pretty much summarizing it throughout. Athletes on this Orange County side of things, both sides of the football. Some of the players stood out. I would say that you really wanted to single out one. Dwayne Wells did a lot of damage tonight for the Hornets. And all right, before we go, one or two examples of something you saw from the Blue Devils that you liked.
Well, positive. You saw Anthony Marshall break out, number 23. He definitely had a good game. And then you saw Bennett Sutherland. I liked his moxie, the way he stood in there and handled the pressure. And then about Cole Plaster, he's an all-around warrior. And Polari.
Devin Polari, yeah, I got to mention him.
So there you go.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us tonight from Porterfield Park. Once again, our final score, Hornets 54, Blue Devils 27. For Johnny, Nicole back in the studio, and Steve, I'm Mark O'Connell saying thanks for watching and supporting Blue Devils football here on the Culpeper Media Network. We will see you next Friday from Broman Field when the Blue Devils play host to the Fauquier Falcons. Until then, so long, everybody.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, 547-3673. CFC Farm and Home Center, 825-2200. Found & Son, 825-3530. Cash Imprints, 317-1473. K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, 825-8371.